When the mind becomes quiet, even for a single moment, something ancient and alive begins to stir within you. It has been there for centuries, perhaps for lives, waiting. It is not something new that you have to create. It is not something you have to achieve or manufacture in the factories of your intellect. No, it is the very ground you stand on. That is your soul. It has been waiting beneath the surface of your thoughts, untouched by time, untouched by doubt, untouched by the dust of the society that has covered you. You can hear it, but you have forgotten how to listen. You can hear it in the silence between your breaths, in that tiny gap where the inhalation ends and the exhalation has not yet begun. You can hear it in the space before sleep, when the day's madness fades and the dreams have not yet taken over. You can hear it in the calm after tears, when the storm of emotion has washed you clean. To listen to it is to return home. And remember, home is not a physical place. Home is not a building of brick and mortar. Home is a quality of being. It is returning to yourself. In this communion today, I will show you how to listen to the voice of your soul, not as a philosophical idea, not as a theological concept to be debated in universities, but as a living, breathing reality. You will learn to recognize the difference between the noise of your mind, which is the noise of the world, and the song of your being. You will discover why silence is not emptiness. People are afraid of silence because they think it is empty. They think it is death. But I tell you, silence is the only true fullness. You will learn how to awaken your inner hearing so that guidance, peace, and clarity flow to you without effort. But before we enter this temple of silence, I invite you to make a small commitment to your own growth. If you are ready to stop seeking answers in the noise and start finding them in the quiet, press the subscribe button. Do not do it as a mechanical act, but as a signal to the universe that you are ready to wake up. And if you find a mirror in these words, if you see your own face in this truth, like the video, it helps this message reach other sleeping souls who are waiting to be shaken awake. Once you learn to listen to your soul, you will no longer need to ask the world for direction. You will stop being a beggar. Right now, you are a beggar. You go to this expert, that teacher, that priest, asking, "What should I do? Who am I? Where should I go?" Because your path will arise naturally from within. You have been taught to look outward for answers. From the very beginning, your education, your parents, your society, they have all turned your eyes outward. They give you books, teachers, opinions, even gods that live outside of you, high up in the clouds. And yet the voice that knows exactly what you need has always been inside. The problem is not that life is silent, life is singing. The birds are singing, the trees are rustling, the wind is passing through the pine needles. Existence is a continuous orchestra. The problem is not that God is silent. The problem is that your mind is too loud. You are living in a marketplace. Inside your head, 1,000 people are talking at once. You fill it with plans, with fears about tomorrow, with regrets about yesterday, with conversations that never end. You are rehearsing arguments with people who are not even present. And in all this noise, the soul's whisper is lost. But understand this, it is lost, but it is not gone. It is still there, waiting like a flame that never dies, waiting for the wind of your thoughts to settle so it can burn bright again. I have seen thousands of people come to me seeking clarity. They travel across oceans, they climb mountains, they come with heavy hearts and confused heads, asking me to show them the truth. They say, "Osho, give us the key." and I tell them there is no key because there is no lock. The door is open. Stop seeking, start listening. The divine does not shout. Truth does not scream like a politician. It waits. It is very polite. It will not intrude upon you. If you want to remain busy with your rubbish, it will let you remain busy. It has infinite patience. And when you learn to listen, even your confusion becomes a teacher. Even your chaos becomes a stepping stone. So in this time together, I will take you into the forgotten art of listening to your own soul. We will explore why you lost connection with it. It was not an accident, it was a conditioning. How the mind's constant noise blinds you to its message, and how silence, awareness, and presence reopen the channel of communication. You will learn to hear the subtle language of your inner being. This language is not English, it is not Sanskrit, it is not Latin, it is the language of vibration. It speaks through intuition, through emotion, through sudden clarity that comes when the mind steps aside. Have you ever had a hunch? A feeling in your gut that defied all logic, yet turned out to be exactly right? That was the whisper. And as we go deeper, if you allow yourself to fall into this river with me, you will begin to realize something extraordinary. Your soul is not separate from existence itself. We think we are islands, separate from the continent. That is the ego's greatest lie. To hear your soul is to hear the voice of the whole. When you listen closely, you are listening to the heartbeat of the universe. By the end, you will not just hear your soul, you will live from it. And living from the soul is the only life worth living. Everything else is just existing, just surviving. Most people think their soul is silent. They say to me, I can't hear it. I sit, I close my eyes, and I hear only my grocery list, my anger at my boss, my worry about the rent. Or they say, if my soul is speaking, why can't I understand it? But here is what most people completely miss. The soul has never gone silent. It is chanting the eternal sound continuously. It is the mind that has become too loud. The mind has filled the house with constant noise, endless thoughts, judgments, plans, opinions, and fears. Imagine you are in a room where heavy metal music is playing at full volume and someone is whispering a secret of immense treasure in your ear. Can you hear the whisper? No. Not because the whisper is not there, but because the noise is overwhelming. You have lived with that noise for so long, you have forgotten it is noise. You think it is you. You begin to mistake the noise for yourself. You say, I am worried, I am angry, I am thinking. You are not the anger, you are not the worry, and you are certainly not the thinking. You are the awareness that is watching the thinking. You think the noise is you, and the silence feels strange. When silence descends upon you, perhaps in a moment of shock, or great beauty, or deep orgasm, you feel afraid. It feels threatening, because silence exposes everything the noise was hiding. The noise is a cover-up. It is a blanket you pull over your head to avoid seeing your own nakedness. The modern mind has forgotten how to rest. You look at animals, they know how to rest. A cat sitting on a fence is in deep meditation. It is simply being. But you live surrounded by noise and within noise. Televisions, notifications, voices, opinions, radio, internet. So much stimulation that silence feels unnatural. If you sit in a room with a friend and nobody speaks for 1 minute, you get nervous, you start coughing, you start fidgeting, you say something stupid about the weather just to break the silence. Why is silence so embarrassing? Because in silence, you have to face yourself. You have been conditioned to fill every gap, every pause, every quiet moment with something. You scroll through your phone, you turn on the music, you call someone, you are running away from yourself. But silence is the home of the soul. You cannot hear the depth of the ocean while standing in a storm. If you are tossing and turning on the waves, screaming in the wind, you cannot know the stillness of the deep sea floor. The surface must become calm for the reflection to appear. The soul speaks only when you are still enough to receive. It is like a radio frequency. If you are tuned to the static of the mind, you miss the music of the divine. This is why people run from silence. They fill their days with distractions and their nights with more noise, music, screens, conversations, because they are afraid of what they might hear if everything stopped. What might you hear? You might hear that your life is a lie. You might hear that the job you are doing is destroying you. You might hear that the relationship you are in is dead. In silence, the mind loses control, and the mind fears that moment more than death. Because the mind exists only in noise, the mind is noise. When the noise fades, truth begins to rise. And truth doesn't always comfort, at least not in the beginning. It awakens, it shakes you. If you have been sleeping in a burning house, the person who wakes you up is not comforting you, he is disturbing your sleep, but he is saving your life. The ego trembles before silence because silence doesn't lie. It reveals. That is why silence feels heavy to most people. It is not the silence that is heavy. It is the burden of your own falseness that the silence reveals. You may think your thoughts are helping you understand life. You justify your overthinking. You say, I am analyzing the situation. But in truth, your thoughts are like waves on a lake. The constant movement keeps the surface disturbed. If the surface is disturbed, the moon's reflection cannot appear. It is broken into 1,000 fragments. You keep searching for the reflection of peace, love, and clarity, but the mind keeps stirring the waters with its spoon of logic. The soul has been shining all along. It is not that the moon has disappeared. The moon is there. It is the turbulence that hides it. When the lake becomes still, the moon appears by itself. You don't have to call it. You don't have to put out a net to catch the moon. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to do anything. Stillness itself is the invitation. When you begin to understand this, something subtle changes in you. You stop trying to find your soul as if it is lost somewhere out there, like a set of car keys. It is not lost. You are lost in the noise. Instead of seeking, you begin to quiet what is in the way. The secret is not to seek, but to soften. You cannot hear a whisper while shouting. You cannot sense truth while demanding it. And you cannot feel the divine presence while you are drowning in your own noise. Listening begins with relaxing. That is the first door. If you are tense, you are closed. If you are trying hard, you are deaf. The letting go of effort, of trying to hear, of forcing silence. You cannot force silence. If you force silence, that forced silence is just another kind of noise. It is repressed noise. The silence of the soul is not something you make. It is not a product. It is something you uncover when the mind stops interfering. Let me ask you, and be honest with yourself, have you ever sat alone and heard something beyond sound? A kind of vibration, a presence that feels alive even when nothing is happening? That is not imagination. The mind will tell you you are imagining things, but that is the mind's defense mechanism. That is awareness. It is the same awareness that exists when music stops, and yet something remains in that presence. The notes are gone, but the dance remains. There is no question, no answer, no struggle, only knowing. That is the space where the soul speaks. So start here. Slow down, you are moving too fast. Where are you running to? To the grave. That is the only destination where speed will take you faster. Slow down. You don't have to stop your thoughts. You cannot stop them by fighting them. If you fight them, you give them energy. You only need to stop chasing them. Sit quietly and just watch. Watch the thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. You are the sky. The clouds come, they turn dark, they rain, they pass. But the sky is untouched. The sky does not say, I hate these black clouds. The sky does not say, I want only white fluffy clouds. The sky simply allows. Be the sky. Don't follow the thoughts. Don't resist them. Don't even judge them. Don't say this is a bad thought or this is a holy thought. A thought is just a thought. Just stay loosely. The clouds begin to thin and light starts to appear. That light is the voice you've been missing. Not a voice of words, but of pure being. Once you begin to taste this silence, something remarkable happens. You will notice that it isn't empty. It is full. It is overflowing. It is pregnant with meaning, full of presence, full of peace. The silence isn't the absence of something. It is the presence of everything. And the more you rest in it, the clearer the whisper of your soul becomes. At first it may feel distant, like an echo from far away. You may doubt it. That is natural. You have been deaf for so long that hearing feels strange, but soon it becomes familiar, intimate, your constant companion. And when you reach that stillness, when the mind begins to quiet, a new kind of hearing opens. It is not through your ears. Ears are for the outside world. This hearing is through awareness itself. You don't listen to the soul. You listen as the soul. That is true listening. That is the beginning of awakening. Before we proceed further into the mystery of this inner language, I want to invite you to deepen your commitment to this channel. If you feel a resonance here, if you feel that this is a watering hole for your thirsty spirit, consider becoming a member. Click the join button. It is not just about supporting the videos. It is about saying yes to the energy we are creating here together. And for those who have felt a shift, a sudden lightness while listening, there is the super thanks button. It is a way to complete the circle of giving and receiving. Now understand this deeply. Once the surface becomes quiet, a new dimension of hearing begins, not with your ears, but with your awareness. And this is where true listening starts. When the noise begins to fade, even for a moment, you start to sense something ancient and delicate stirring beneath it. It is not a sound, not a thought. It is a feeling, a vibration, a knowing that cannot be explained in words. The mind will try to label it. The mind is a labeling machine. It sees a flower and immediately says rose, and the moment it says rose, it stops seeing the flower. It is satisfied with the word, do not label this feeling. It is a knowing that defies logic. That is the beginning of hearing your soul. What I'm about to share may sound strange to the mind, because the mind only understands language built from words, logic, and structure. It wants grammar, it wants subject, object, verb, but the soul doesn't speak like that. It doesn't use sentences. It is not a professor. It speaks through silence, through symbols, through sensations that arise in your being and ask to be felt rather than understood. The mind speaks in arguments, the soul speaks in resonance. The mind seeks to convince, it tries to sell you an idea. The soul simply shows. It is like a mirror. It doesn't argue with you that your face is dirty. It simply shows you the dirt. Every intuitive pull you have ever felt, every quiet nudge, every moment of knowing something without knowing how you know it, that is the soul's language. It may appear as a gentle warmth in your chest, or perhaps as a quiet whisper that says, wait, when you are rushing. You are running to sign a contract, to meet a lover, and suddenly something in your belly says, wait, no logic, no reason. If you listen to the mind, you will say, don't be silly, I am late. If you listen to the soul, you will pause, and later you will realize that pause saved you, or it may come as a subtle unease that tells you something is wrong, even when everything looks fine on the surface. The man is smiling, his words are sweet, the deal looks perfect, but your soul feels a chill. That is the soul's radar. The problem is not that the soul is quiet, it is that you have stopped trusting its softness. You want loud proof, you want neon signs, but truth is soft. Only lies are loud. You have learned to trust only noise. You listen to reason, to opinions, to logic, to others. You listen to the news anchor, the neighbor, the priest. But the soul does not shout to be heard. It waits for you to become still enough to remember its language. You were born fluent in this language. Remember this. I am not teaching you something new. I am reminding you of something you have forgotten. Every child is a mystic. A child feels what is true before it is told what is correct. A child looks at you and knows if you are authentic or fake. You cannot deceive a child easily. They sense the vibration of a person's heart before hearing their words. A child follows what feels alive and turns away from what feels dead. That sensitivity, that purity is how the soul speaks. But then came fear, imitation, and conditioning, the prison of society. You were told to be sensible, to be practical, to be like others. Don't be wild, they said. Don't be a dreamer, they said. Slowly, you stopped listening to that inner knowing. You began to live from the outside in. You became a plastic flower. You learned to translate your feelings into logic, your intuition into analysis, your soul into strategy. You became a politician of your own life. The living voice within became buried under layers of noise that the world calls knowledge. You think you are educated, but you have only lost your innocence. Yet even beneath all that, the soul has never fallen silent. It keeps finding ways to reach you. It is very persistent. It loves you too much to give up on you. It speaks through your dreams where logic no longer dominates. When the policeman of the mind is asleep, the soul sends you symbols. It speaks through coincidences that seem too meaningful to ignore. A book that arrives at the right time falling off the shelf. A stranger's words that echo your unspoken thought. A sudden wave of peace that comes for no reason at all. You are just walking down the street and suddenly bliss. Why? The mind dismisses these as accidents. The mind says just chance. But the soul smiles because it knows there are no accidents in existence. Existence is a cosmos, not a chaos. There are only messages that the inattentive miss. If you begin to live with awareness, you'll start seeing that life itself is constantly communicating with you. The whole universe is a conversation. The stars are talking to you, the rivers are talking to you, and the language is energy. The ego, of course, interrupts this communication. It is like static on a radio. It is the interference. It fills every frequency with its own noise, insisting that you cannot trust what you feel unless it makes sense to the mind. The ego needs control. It is a control freak, and the soul threatens that control, because the soul leads through surrender, not through calculation. The ego says, if I can't explain it, it's not real. That is the scientific arrogance. The soul says, if you can feel it, that's enough. To live by the soul is to trust something invisible, something vast, something that cannot be measured. It is risky. It is dangerous to the ego. It is like sailing on an ocean without maps, guided only by the stars. But the moment you surrender, the stars begin to guide you in ways the mind could never plan. The mind can only plan based on the past. It recycles old memories. The soul guides you into the future, into the unknown. Let me tell you a story. Imagine a man who has forgotten how to read. Once he loved poetry. Words moved him, danced for him. But over time, through disuse, through laziness, he forgot the alphabet. And now the books in his house mean nothing. They are just paper and black marks. He stares at the pages, but sees only patterns of ink. He feels frustrated. He feels something is missing, but he cannot grasp it. Then one day, a single word begins to stir a faint memory, maybe love, maybe God, maybe silence. He sounds it out slowly, awkwardly, like a child learning to speak, and something awakens in him, a recognition, a connection, a pulse of joy. That one word opens the door to the next and the next, until he begins to read again, not with the intellect, but with the heart. The soul is like that. You have forgotten its alphabet. You have forgotten how to read the book of your own life. But the memory is not lost. It is only covered. The first time you feel a quiet knowing, a deep resonance, it is the first word returning. And soon the whole language begins to flow again. To understand the language of the soul, you must listen with innocence. This is crucial. Listen without an agenda. Don't analyze. Don't dissect. Don't bring your surgical knife of logic. Don't demand meaning. Just be open like a child watching rainfall for the first time. The child doesn't ask, what is the chemical composition of water? The child dances. Feel its rhythm, sense its presence. Let the experience wash through you without interference. The mind will always want to name it. Is this intuition? Is this God? Is this higher self? But the moment you name something, you stop seeing it. You put it in a box. Listening to the soul means stepping beyond the need to explain and simply allowing. The more innocent you're listening, the more clearly the voice speaks. So remember this, the soul's voice doesn't come through effort. It comes through openness. When you stop trying to understand and start to feel, understanding arises naturally. It blossoms. When you stop searching for signs and start living in awareness, signs begin to appear everywhere. Listening is not a doing. It is an undoing. It is the art of stepping back, of creating space, of allowing existence to speak through you instead of to you. But even when you begin to recognize this language, something in you will still resist. The ego will step in pretending to help you interpret what you hear. It is very cunning. It says, yes, that is a spiritual message. Let me explain it to you so we can use it to become rich or famous. It tries to twist the message into what it wants. And in that translation, the meaning will be lost because the soul speaks in mystery and the ego demands certainty. There are two different frequencies, one soft like wind, the other hard like stone. And unless the stone begins to soften, the wind cannot be heard. When you start trusting the whispers, when you stop demanding proof, when you let yourself follow the faint pull of your own being, even when it doesn't make sense, that is when you begin to walk in alignment with the soul. And from that moment onward, your life begins to move with a new rhythm. You no longer live by effort, but by guidance. You no longer push life forward like a broken cart. Life begins to carry you. You become the river. If these words are penetrating your heart, if you feel the truth of them vibrating in your bones, share this video. Share it not to promote a channel, but to wake up a friend. We are all sleeping together in this asylum called the world. Be the one who shakes the person next to you. Leave a comment below. Tell me, is your mind a friend or a master? Let us start the conversation of silence. Here is something most people completely overlook. Silence is not empty. It is not dead. You look at a stone and think it is dead. But the physicist knows the stone is dancing with atomic energy. In the same way you look at silence and think it is the absence of life. No. It is alive, vibrating, overflowing with presence. The whole existence speaks in silence, but man has become deaf to it. The trees are whispering, the rivers are singing, the stars are humming their eternal songs. But only the one who has become silent can hear it. You see, the soul doesn't use words because truth cannot fit into them. Words are small cages, and the soul is vast, endless. You cannot put the sky into a matchbox. To hear it, you must learn a different way of listening, a listening that doesn't belong to the ears, but to awareness itself. That listening begins only when the noise of thought subsides, even slightly, and a space opens inside you. That space is sacred, and in that space, your real hearing begins. Meditation is not a technique. The West has made a technique out of everything. You think meditation is sitting in a lotus posture, doing gymnastics with your breath, chanting a mantra. That is not meditation. Meditation is a remembrance of this space. It is the act of returning home to yourself. When you sit silently, doing nothing, allowing your thoughts to pass like clouds, slowly the sky of your mind begins to clear. At first, there will be storms. Do not be discouraged. The winds of your habits will resist stillness. Your restlessness will fight the peace that tries to bloom. You have invested so much in your neurosis that when peace comes, you feel unemployed. You will feel uncomfortable, as if you are missing something, as if you should be doing something. I am wasting time, the mind will say. I could be making money. I could be achieving something. That discomfort is only withdrawal from noise. It is your mind's addiction showing itself. The addiction to movement, to sound, to control. But if you can stay with it, breathe through it, watch without judgment, a miracle begins. You begin to feel the presence beneath the noise. You begin to sense that silence is not the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. When silence arrives, it doesn't come as an achievement. You cannot put it on your resume. It comes as a grace. You cannot make it happen. You can only create the conditions for it to appear. The way you can open your window, but you cannot command the breeze to enter. The breeze comes when the time is right. The silence comes when the noise has exhausted itself. So sit, wait, watch. Don't chase stillness. Let stillness find you. Slowly you begin to hear the pulse of life itself, the heartbeat of existence echoing within your own. You feel the same energy that moves the planets also moving in your breath. You realize that your being is not separate from the vastness around you. Listening becomes communion. You and existence are in dialogue, not through sound, but through presence. Imagine a musician who has been playing endlessly, thinking the beauty lies in the notes alone. He plays faster, louder, more complex, believing that mastery comes through constant action. He is showing off his technique, but one day his fingers stop. Out of exhaustion, or perhaps out of grace, the music halts. And in that sudden stillness, he hears something he has never heard before. The silence between the notes, the music behind the music. He realizes that it was always there, but his playing had drowned it. This is exactly what happens when you stop chasing thoughts. In the silence between them, you hear the real song, the song of your soul. Now let me tell you something beautiful. When silence becomes your natural state, the voice of your soul is no longer a rare visitor. It becomes your constant companion. It speaks in every breath, in every glance, in every heartbeat. You begin to move differently, more slowly, more consciously. You begin to speak less. But your words carry weight because they rise from silence, not from reaction. Even your presence changes. People feel peace around you without knowing why. The silence within you becomes contagious. You don't preach, you don't teach, you simply are, and that is enough. But remember, most people enter silence with a motive. They meditate to get something, to find peace, to fix their mind, to escape suffering. They are greedy even in their spirituality. This very motive becomes the obstacle. The soul cannot be bribed. True listening happens when you drop every intention, every demand, every expectation. You cannot listen and desire at the same time. Desire moves into the future. Listening happens in the present. Listening means total openness, a vulnerability, a surrender. The moment you want something from the silence, you have already polluted it with noise. Listen not to get something. Listen because listening itself is sacred. A flower doesn't bloom because you watch it or command it to open. It blooms when the right conditions are met: sunlight, water, patience. The same is true for the voice of your soul. It blooms when you stop interfering. It opens when you are not watching. It speaks when you are no longer demanding. That is the mystery. The less you try to hear it, the more clearly it speaks. So when you sit in silence, don't sit like a beggar waiting for a gift. Sit like a lover waiting for the beloved. Not impatiently, but in joyful anticipation, knowing that the beloved will come when the heart is ready. Sit as if you are already full, not empty. Listen not for something specific, but for the simple beauty of being. Let the silence wash over you like rain falling on thirsty earth. And when it does, the soul will begin to sing, not as a voice in your head, but as a vibration throughout your being. And once you begin to hear, even faintly, don't analyze it. Don't say, was that real? Was that imagination? That doubt is the mind creeping back in. Just trust the feeling, trust the warmth, trust the peace. The soul speaks in ways the mind cannot verify, but the heart instantly knows. It doesn't convince, it comforts. It doesn't explain, it enfolds you in clarity. In this listening, you discover the deepest truth, that you were never disconnected. The soul was speaking all along. It was not waiting to speak. It was waiting for you to become quiet enough to notice. And when you hear it, your life becomes a dance. Every step, every breath, every pause becomes music perfectly in tune with existence. And as you learn to listen in this way, as silence deepens and awareness expands, you begin to hear something greater than your own soul. You begin to hear the heartbeat of the whole. You realize that the voice within and the voice of existence are not two. You were never just listening. You were being listened to by life itself. When you have begun to listen, truly listen, when silence has become not an occasional visitor, but a natural rhythm in your being, something incredible begins to happen. You stop living by effort and you start living by guidance. Your life, which was once filled with constant pushing and pulling, suddenly finds its own flow. You no longer move through existence trying to make things happen. You simply move in harmony with what is already happening. This is the shift from living through the mind to living through the soul. The mind calculates, the soul trusts, the mind strategizes, the soul knows, the mind reacts to life, the soul dances with it. When you live from that inner voice, every step becomes light, every choice becomes clear, and every moment feels connected to something vast, something divine. Most people live as if life is a struggle against the current. They plan, they fight, they compete, they believe they must control everything or else they will drown. But the more they try to control life, the more life slips through their fingers. They become hard, they become bitter, they grow old before their time. The one who listens to the soul, however, doesn't fight the current. He becomes the current. He learns to float, to surrender, to trust the flow of the river. This is not laziness. The mind will tell you this is laziness. You will achieve nothing. Do not listen to the mind. This is intelligence, the highest intelligence. To move with existence is not passivity. It is participation in its deepest sense. It is to let go of resistance and become one with the great movement that is already carrying everything. When the inner and outer worlds align, life no longer feels divided. The outer becomes a reflection of the inner. Your actions begin to express your truth effortlessly. You stop pretending, you stop forcing, you begin to live as you are meant to live. There is no longer a gap between what you feel and what you do. The words you speak, the choices you make, the people you meet all begin to synchronize with your inner clarity. When the outer reflects the inner, the whole of life becomes poetry. It becomes a living meditation. You are no longer managing existence. You are participating in its dance. Imagine a sailor who has learned to read the stars. He doesn't command the sea to take him somewhere. He doesn't shout orders at the waves. That would be madness. He simply aligns himself with the wind, adjusts his sails, and lets the vast ocean guide him. His wisdom lies not in controlling the journey, but in understanding the rhythm of the universe that moves through the tides. When you begin to live from the soul, you become like that sailor. You begin to feel the winds of existence guiding you, subtle but powerful. You may not always know where you are going, but you always know that you are being carried in the right direction. And the most beautiful part of this is how effortless life becomes. Decisions that once tortured you now unfold naturally. You no longer have to overthink or analyze. You begin to feel what is right instead of calculating it. There is a quiet certainty, a calm knowing that arises not from intellect, but from being in tune. Even when storms come, and they always do, you are not shaken. You let them pass through you because you understand that even the storm has its purpose. The one who lives from the soul is not afraid of uncertainty because he knows that uncertainty is simply the language of growth. If this effortless way of living speaks to your deepest self, you might want to dive even deeper into this wisdom. In the description of this video, you will find links to my ebooks. These books are not meant to be read with the intellect. They are meditations. They are keys to unlock the inner doors. Consider supporting the channel by acquiring these treasures. And if you want to support this journey directly, use the Super Thanks feature below. Every gesture of support helps keep the flame of this awareness burning bright for millions. But let me tell you something deeper. Even alignment is not the end. When you live from the voice of the soul long enough, you begin to see that there is no you listening to the soul. There is only listening itself. The voice you thought was within you reveals itself as the voice of the whole. What you called my soul is not personal. You do not own it. It is not property. It is the echo of the cosmos vibrating in this small instrument called you. The wave realizes it has never been separate from the ocean. It realizes that every motion, every ripple, every rise and fall was the ocean's doing all along. Once you see this, the need for control vanishes completely. You no longer live trying to fulfill a purpose. You realize that life itself is the purpose. The divine doesn't need you to accomplish anything. It doesn't need your ambitious projects. It only needs you to be a clear channel through which it can express itself. You are not the doer. You are the vessel. You are not the singer. You are the flute through which existence plays its song. If the flute has ego, it blocks the breath of the singer. If the flute is hollow, if it is empty, the song flows. When you understand this, all tension disappears. You don't push life, you allow it. You don't demand miracles. You notice that everything is already miraculous. And this is where real freedom begins. You begin to live spontaneously, moment to moment, without fear of what's coming or regret for what's gone. You begin to see that everything is as it should be. Every meeting, every ending, every breath is orchestrated with perfect intelligence. When you trust this, life becomes simple. It doesn't mean it becomes easy. Difficulty will be there, pain will be there. It means that even in difficulty, there is peace. Because when you know that existence itself is moving through you, how can you be afraid? How can you feel alone? When I say live from the soul, I'm not asking you to withdraw from life. I'm not asking you to go to the Himalayas and hide in a cave. That is cowardice. That is escaping the test. I am asking you to enter it more fully, more deeply, but without the interference of the mind. To live from the soul is to walk through the world awake, with eyes that see and a heart that feels. It is to let your inner stillness guide your outer movement. It is to trust the invisible as much as the visible. And when you do that, every act becomes sacred. Cooking becomes meditation. Walking becomes prayer. Breathing becomes worship. This is the ultimate transformation. When listening turns into living, when meditation turns into movement, when the inner and outer merge into one seamless expression of existence, the voice of the soul doesn't lead you away from life. It leads you deeper into it. It leads you to the center of everything, to the point where there is no separation between you and the divine that moves the stars. And when this realization settles in your being, all seeking ends. You no longer meditate to reach somewhere. Meditation becomes your way of walking, speaking, loving, and being. You no longer ask questions because every moment itself becomes an answer. Listening is no longer a practice. It is the essence of who you are. You are home. You are the song. You are the silence in which it all unfolds. When a person has begun to live from the soul, when the noise has quieted and the current of existence moves through him without resistance, there arises the final flowering, the return to innocence. Innocence is not ignorance. Ignorance is blind. Innocence is the highest intelligence, the wisdom of one who has seen everything, known everything, and yet no longer clings to any of it. It is the freedom of a child who plays beneath the open sky, untouched by ambition, uncorrupted by calculation. It is the simplicity of being where life is lived moment to moment without memory polluting the present, without fear distorting what is real. The mind grows older with time, but the soul never ages. The mind accumulates dust, the dust of experience, of knowledge, of comparison, and that dust hides your original radiance. To return to innocence is to wash yourself clean of that dust. The soul is simple, the mind complicates. The soul moves in wonder, the mind moves in worry. The soul trusts existence, the mind suspects it. The soul says yes, the mind says no. Somewhere along the way you stopped saying yes to life. You started demanding explanations. You began to ask for guarantees. You wanted everything certain, everything under your control. And certainty killed wonder. Control destroyed spontaneity. The child in you, the one who could laugh for no reason, the one who could dance just because the wind was blowing, was silenced by fear and expectation. But the child never truly dies. It waits inside you, behind all your seriousness, behind all your masks, waiting for the moment you are brave enough to be simple again. To live with innocence means to rediscover your capacity for awe. It means looking at a sunset as if it were the first time, hearing the rain as if it were a sacred song meant only for you. It means laughing without needing a reason, crying without shame, loving without calculation. It means dropping the armor you have built around your heart. You think that armor protects you, but it only imprisons you. It keeps the fresh air out. It keeps the sunlight out. The soul does not need protection. It needs openness. When you open your heart, like a child opens his arms to the world, existence rushes in. And in that embrace, fear dissolves because innocence and fear cannot coexist. Fear is born of memory, but innocence lives only in the now. The mind is obsessed with knowing, but innocence is content with not knowing. The mind says, I must understand before I can trust. Innocence says, I trust, and through trust, understanding comes. This is the reversal, the great turning of the inner tide. When you drop the burden of trying to figure everything out, you discover something extraordinary. Existence starts taking care of you. You begin to see that life doesn't need your constant interference. The river knows how to reach the sea. The flower knows when to bloom. You are meant to move with that same effortless grace. Innocence is not passivity. It is alignment with the intelligence that is already guiding everything. And when you live this way, everything becomes light. The heaviness of ambition fades. The tension of desire melts. You work, but there is play in your work. You love, but there is freedom in your love. You speak, but there is silence in your words. You become paradox itself. Fully alive, yet utterly at peace. The ego cannot understand this, because the ego thrives on struggle. It needs conflict to feel real. It says, I conquer, therefore I am. But the soul lives in harmony. Innocence is harmony. It is not the denial of the world, but the acceptance of it. The realization that nothing is wrong, that everything is as it must be. Let me give you an image. A child chasing butterflies, completely lost in the moment. He isn't chasing them to catch them. He isn't thinking of keeping them in a jar. He is just running because their flight fills him with joy. The colors, the movement, the sunlight, it's all one symphony to him. That is how life feels when you live with innocence. You no longer chase experiences to possess them. You move with them, dance with them, celebrate them, and when they pass, you let them go. The butterflies of life are not meant to be caught. They are meant to be danced with. You must unlearn everything that has made you old. Not old in age, but old in spirit. Your seriousness is your sickness. You go around with long faces, carrying the weight of the world. Why so serious? Existence is a cosmic joke. You were born playful, and life is meant to be play. Have you noticed how when you laugh deeply, all thought disappears? In laughter you are pure presence. In joy you are innocent again. That is why joy is divine. It brings you closest to your original self. And when you live joyfully, gratefully, open to the mystery of every breath, you are living as your soul. To remain innocent in a world full of noise and corruption is not weakness, it is strength of the highest order. Anyone can become bitter, anyone can become cynical. It takes no effort to be miserable. It takes great courage to remain pure, to keep your heart soft when the world has tried to harden it. Innocence is not naivety, it is clarity without cynicism. It is seeing the truth of the world's madness and still choosing to love. The child in you is the last temple of the divine. Protect it not with walls, but with awareness. Let your awareness guard that flame so it never goes out. And when you live like this, silence deepens. Gratitude becomes effortless. The voice of the soul no longer comes as whispers. It sings through your every action. You are no longer a seeker. You are a song. You are no longer trying to connect with your soul. You are living as your soul. Every moment becomes sacred because innocence makes everything holy. The simplest acts, drinking water, breathing air, touching the hand of another, become filled with grace. If you are finding yourself in these words, if you feel the child inside you stirring, do not let this moment pass without action. Click the join button to become a member of our community. This is a gathering of seekers becoming seers, a collective of innocent hearts walking the path together. And if this message has touched the deepest core of your being, show your appreciation through the super thanks feature. It is a beautiful way to exchange energy and keep this garden of truth flourishing. When innocence returns, silence deepens, and the soul becomes a lifelong companion, not a distant echo. You walk through life not searching for meaning, but radiating it. You no longer ask, "What is my purpose?" because your being itself has become the answer. And when that happens, you will laugh. Not a small laughter, but the laughter of the whole universe moving through you, because you have remembered what you always were, a child of existence, eternally young, eternally free. And so, when you have begun to sense the quiet whisper of your soul, when you have felt its presence moving beneath the noise of your thoughts, you enter the most sacred journey of all, the return to your own inner silence. But remember this, hearing your soul is not an act of effort, it is an act of surrender. You have been taught that everything valuable in life requires hard work. You work hard to get a degree, you work hard to get a promotion, you work hard to build a house. And so, the mind naturally assumes, I must work hard to hear my soul, I must meditate for hours, I must fast. I must torture my body. I must concentrate until my head hurts. But the soul is not an achievement. It is not something to be conquered. It is not something to be achieved, but something to be allowed. The mind wants to do, but the soul wants to be. The mind speaks loudly in arguments, in justifications, and in endless explanations. It is a lawyer, constantly defending its own ignorance, but the soul speaks softly in silence and in feeling. And unless you become still enough to hear, you will continue mistaking the mind's chaos for your own truth. You will live a second-hand life, following the dictates of a society that is itself deeply insane. The whole world is full of noise. Look around you. Everyone is speaking. Few are listening. People talk about their pain, their dreams, their fears, but they rarely listen, not to others, not to life, not even to themselves. You sit with someone in a cafe, and while they are speaking, you are not listening. You are just waiting for them to stop so you can start talking about yourself. Listening has become a lost art. But your soul speaks only in the language of listening. It reveals itself only when you are quiet enough to receive. When you stop interrupting with your opinions, your memories, your expectations, something extraordinary begins to happen. A space opens. That space is where the divine voice speaks, not in words, but in vibrations of presence. If you listen carefully, you will notice your soul never shouts, it never demands, it simply waits. It will never compete with your mind because it knows that truth doesn't need to argue. Only lies need defense. The truth is self-evident. It knows that when the storm of thoughts finally tires itself out, its voice will be the only thing left. That is why silence feels so intimidating to many people. Because silence begins to reveal everything they have been avoiding. You keep the radio on, you keep the television blaring, you keep your schedule packed just to avoid this revelation. Because in the quiet, there is no escape. All your suppressed emotions, your forgotten dreams, your unlived desires begin to rise to the surface. You cannot push them down anymore. This is the soul knocking on the door of your awareness, saying, I am still here. You forgot me, but I have not forgotten you. At first, listening to your soul will feel uncomfortable. It will feel like a threat to your established identity. Because the soul doesn't speak the language of convenience. It doesn't care about your comfort zone. It will tell you truths you buried long ago. It will remind you of the love you never expressed because of your ego, the purpose you never followed because of your fear, the peace you keep postponing for some future that never arrives. It doesn't care about your social image, your carefully constructed persona, your plans or your ambitions. It only cares that you live authentically. And authenticity is the most radical act in a world that thrives on imitation. When you listen to your soul, you will begin to see that many things you were chasing were never yours. You wanted to be a doctor, but was it your desire or your mother's? You wanted to be rich, but was it your passion or society's expectation? They were borrowed dreams planted by others. The soul doesn't follow fashion, it follows truth. Listening to your soul requires courage, immense courage, because it may ask you to walk away from what is safe, from what is familiar. It may ask you to let go of relationships that no longer serve your growth. You may have to leave friends who only share your misery but never support your expansion. It may ask you to leave jobs that suffocate your joy, to release identities that have kept you small. The soul speaks not to comfort you, but to awaken you. It whispers not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And if you follow that voice, if you trust it, You will begin to live a life that feels light, natural, effortless, because you will be aligned with your own essence. You will no longer be swimming against the current of your own nature. When you listen deeply, you begin to notice that the soul doesn't only speak in words, it speaks in sensations, in synchronicities, in intuition. It speaks through dreams, through the way your body feels when something is right or wrong. Your body is a much better listener than your mind. When you are with the wrong person, your body contracts, your stomach tightens. When you are in the right place, your chest expands. Learn to listen to the wisdom of the body. Sometimes it speaks through pain. We have been taught to hate pain, to numb it with pills and distractions. But pain is the soul's way of showing where you have strayed from your path. Pain is not punishment. Existence is not punishing you. Pain is communication. It is a signal from your deeper self saying, you are not living your truth, you are compromising. And the moment you stop resisting pain and start listening to it, it begins to transform into understanding. You embrace it, you say, welcome, what have you come to teach me? And the pain reveals its hidden wisdom. The soul speaks through love too. Not the possessive love of the ego, not the love that says, you are mine. That is not love, that is monopoly. The soul speaks through the vast unconditional love that connects all things. When you feel a sudden wave of compassion for a stranger crying on the street, when you are moved by beauty for no reason, the way the sunlight hits a leaf, that is your soul reminding you that you are not separate. It is saying, remember you belong to this vast web of life. That recognition brings tears because it feels like coming home. Every time you listen with your heart instead of your mind, you are hearing your soul. And sometimes the soul speaks most clearly through silence, in moments when words disappear and only presence remains, when you are simply aware without judgment or thought. That is when you are closest to your own source. That silence is not empty, it is alive, it is full of intelligence, guidance, love. Sit with that silence often. If these reflections are awakening a dormant space within you, don't let the energy dissipate. Share this video with someone whose soul you recognize. You know who they are. They are the ones who are tired of the noise, just like you. And if you have insights from your own moments of silence, drop them in the comments. Let us create a community of listeners. Let this silence fill you. Let it teach you. Because the more you listen, the more you will realize that the voice of your soul is not separate from the voice of existence itself. Most people pray to God with words. They go to the temple, to the mosque, to the church, and they recite memorized prayers. They are begging, give me this, protect me from that. But the soul prays with listening. In deep listening, you don't speak to existence. You allow existence to speak through you. You stop trying to control the conversation and simply become the space where truth can echo. Listening is not passive. It is receptive power. It is the highest form of meditation. So begin to practice listening, not just to your own inner voice, but to life itself. Listen to the pauses between the notes in music. The real music is in the gap. Listen to the silence between words. Listen to the rhythm of your own breath, the great tide that connects you to the cosmos. Listen to the wind passing through the trees, to the rain touching the earth. Listen without trying to interpret, without trying to analyze. Because when you truly listen, you dissolve the boundary between the listener and the listened to. You become one with what you hear. That is the secret of the mystic. He listens so deeply that there is no one left to listen. Only awareness remains, the separation drops, the subject and object merge. Your soul has been speaking to you since the moment you were born. It has spoken in every sigh, in every longing, in every quiet intuition that said, there is more to life than this. That feeling of incompleteness you carry, that is the soul pulling you toward the infinite. Stop silencing it with distractions. Stop doubting it with fear. Sit quietly, breathe, and ask it to speak again. Then do the hardest and most beautiful thing of all, listen. Because when you learn to listen to your soul, you no longer need anyone else to tell you who you are or where to go. You don't need priests, you don't need gurus, you don't need society's approval. You will know, not as a thought, but as a living truth vibrating in your very being. And once you start living from that knowing, every step you take will feel guided. Every moment will feel meaningful, and every silence will feel sacred. There comes a moment, once you have learned to listen deeply, when the voice of your soul no longer feels distant or fragile. In the beginning, it is like a flickering candle. A small wind can blow it out, but as you nourish it with awareness, it becomes a blazing sun. It becomes your compass. It becomes the guiding rhythm of your entire being. You no longer need to seek direction outside of yourself because the path begins to rise naturally from within. Every step you take feels as though it has been whispered into your heart before your foot even moves. You don't walk into the future. The future unfolds beneath your feet. This is what it means to live guided not by the fear-driven logic of the mind, but by the soft authority of the soul. When the soul becomes your compass, your life begins to lose its old heaviness. Decisions no longer feel like battles. The constant anxiety of what if fades. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if I lose my money? All these ghosts disappear because you start to realize that you can never take a wrong turn when you're moving with awareness. Even when you wander off, even when you stumble, the soul uses those detours to bring you back. Nothing is wasted, not a failure, not a heartbreak, not even a mistake. Everything becomes a message. Everything becomes part of the unfolding. The universe stops feeling like a maze and starts feeling like a melody, and your soul knows the tune by heart. But this harmony can only arise in those who trust. Trust is the bridge between your mind and your soul. The mind wants proof, the soul wants participation. The mind says, show me the way, give me a map. Give me a guarantee, then I'll walk. The soul says, walk, take the first step into the dark, and the way will appear. The mind demands certainty. The soul thrives in mystery. The mind is a coward. It lives in the known. The soul is an adventurer. It longs for the unknown. And yet, once you begin to trust that inner voice, you will see that existence itself begins to move in your favor. Events align. People appear out of nowhere to help you. Opportunities flow. It is as if life has been waiting for you to surrender your resistance so it can finally show its love. Life has been waiting for you to drop your weapons. Trusting your soul does not mean you will never experience challenges. Don't be fooled by New Age fantasies that say once you are spiritual, life is just pink clouds and harps. In fact, life may become more raw, more intense, more unpredictable. But you will meet everything with a calmness that defies logic, because you will sense that even the storms are part of the symphony. When you trust, fear loses its power. Fear feeds on the future. trust lives in the present. You stop living in reaction to life and begin living in relationship with it. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. This happened to me, that happened to me. No, you become a conscious participant in the divine dance. People often ask me, how can I know if it's my soul speaking or my mind pretending? The mind is so clever, it mimics the soul. The answer is simple. The mind's voice is loud, anxious, urgent. It creates panic. Do this now or you will lose. It wants results. It needs guarantees, and it feeds on fear. The soul's voice is quiet, calm, and compassionate. It never rushes you. It never forces you. It speaks once and then it waits. It doesn't insist. It invites. And when you follow it, it feels light. Even if it leads you into the unknown, even if it leads you to lose everything the world values, there is a strange peace, a sense of rightness, as if the universe is walking beside you. That feeling is the language of truth. When the soul becomes your compass, your relationships also change. You stop needing others to complete you because you no longer feel incomplete. The beggar disappears. You begin to love people without wanting to possess them. You can be close without being entangled, supportive without being dependent, because your love no longer comes from emptiness. It comes from fullness. It overflows. You no longer say, I love you because I need you. You say, I love you because I am love. And that kind of love liberates everyone. It touches, it heals, it asks for nothing, but it gives everything. And something even greater happens. You begin to see that the voice of your soul is not separate from the voice of life itself. You realize that what you once called my soul is the same energy that moves the stars, the same intelligence that blossoms the flowers, the same mystery that breathes through every creature. You are not just guided by existence, you are existence guiding itself. The drop realizes it is the ocean. The dancer realizes he is also the dance. The listener realizes that what he hears is also what he is. This is the final revelation, that the soul and life are one, and to follow your soul is to follow the pulse of the cosmos. If you are walking this path of transformation and you wish to anchor yourself deeper in this work, I invite you to click the join button. By becoming a member, you are not just subscribing to a channel, you are stepping into a circle of seekers committed to living from the soul. For those who feel an abundance of gratitude, the Super Thanks feature is your way of pouring that energy back into the source, allowing this message to reach all corners of the earth. When you live this way, you no longer walk with fear, you walk with wonder. You move through the world like a child who knows he is cared for, who trusts that every step, even the uncertain ones, are part of something sacred. You begin to smile more, real smiles, not the social plastic ones. You begin to breathe deeper, to speak less and feel more. You discover a wisdom that doesn't come from books. Books can only give you words. Wisdom comes from life. You discover a peace that doesn't come from possessions and a joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. You are no longer searching for your place in existence. You are finally at home within it. And this is the beauty of listening to your soul. It brings you back to yourself. And in that return, you find the divine. When you live from that place, even the most ordinary moments shine with meaning. Drinking tea becomes meditation. You hold the cup, you feel the warmth, you smell the aroma, you taste the liquid. Total presence. A conversation becomes communion, silence becomes music. You realize that every experience, no matter how simple, is an expression of the infinite. You no longer need to escape life to feel spiritual. You don't need to go to a monastery. You see that life itself is the temple and your awareness is the prayer. When the soul becomes your compass, your life becomes effortless. Not because everything goes as planned, but because you stop needing it to. You drop the plan. You flow with existence instead of against it. You begin to see that every moment, whether joyful or painful, is exactly what you need for your growth. Existence is your university, and that realization brings an unshakable peace, the peace of being one with all that is. So listen deeply, trust completely, follow fearlessly. Your soul has been calling you home, not to a place, but to yourself. And the more you listen, the less you will need to ask, where am I going? Because you will already be there. You will already be home in the stillness of your own being, where life is no longer a question to answer, but a mystery to live. There also comes a point, once the voice of the soul has become clear and the compass of your being steady, when even that voice begins to fade. Not because it has gone silent, but because it no longer needs to speak. You have heard it so deeply that it becomes your heartbeat. Listening and living merge. The seeker disappears, and only awareness remains. This is the silence beyond the soul, where you no longer listen to something within, because you have become that which you were listening to. In the beginning, the soul felt separate, like a gentle guide whispering through the noise of your thoughts. You could sense its distance, its difference from the mind. But as your listening deepens, as your awareness expands, you begin to see that the soul was never apart. It was existence itself, speaking in your own language. The line between inner and outer dissolves. You realize that every sound, every silence, every face, every breeze, every heartbeat is the same energy, the same presence, expressing itself in infinite forms. When you listen from this place, you are not a person listening to life. You are life listening to itself. This is the ultimate listening, so complete that even the listener disappears. The mind can't understand this because the mind only knows separation. The mind lives on division. This is me, that is you. This is inside, that is outside. This is matter, that is spirit. The mind says, there is me and there is the thing I am listening to. But awareness has no division. It is one movement, one being, one endless silence that vibrates with the hum of creation. In that space, you don't hear a message. You become the message. You don't look for signs. You are the sign. You don't seek understanding. You are understanding itself. And this is where love reaches its highest expression, not love as emotion. Emotions change. In the morning you love, in the evening you hate. Not love as longing, but love as being. Because when you see that everything is one, how can you not love? There is no other left to fear or hate. When you touch a flower, you are touching yourself. When you breathe the air, you are breathing your own essence. When you look into another's eyes, you are looking into the same infinity that looks back from your own. The realization of oneness turns existence into a continuous embrace. You cannot harm anyone because there is no one outside of you. If you hurt another, you are hurting yourself. You cannot compete because there is no one to win or lose against. You cannot feel lonely because you are surrounded by your own vastness. This is the state of the awakened soul, where listening becomes silence and silence becomes love. It is not something to be practiced. You cannot practice love. and you cannot practice silence. If you practice silence, it becomes a forced discipline. It becomes an act. It becomes a performance of the ego. Have you seen these so-called spiritual people sitting like statues, holding their breath, forcing their minds to be still? Look at their faces. They are tense. They are more tense than the businessman in the marketplace. The businessman is only chasing money. The spiritual man is chasing God. His greed is even bigger. He is practicing holiness, and in doing so, he is destroying the very possibility of the divine. But true silence, the silence of the soul, happens naturally when you stop interfering. It happens when you drop the idea of practicing anything. Look at the river. The river does not practice flowing. It does not attend classes on how to reach the ocean. It simply flows. It meets obstacles. It goes around them. It doesn't fight. And when the river stops struggling to reach the ocean, when it drops the anxiety of will I reach, will I fail, in that very moment of relaxation, it discovers that it was already part of it. The water in the river and the water in the ocean are not two different things. It was the same water all along. In the same way, when you stop trying to become spiritual, you discover that you were never anything else. You cannot become spiritual. You are spirit. How can you become what you already are? A fish does not need to learn how to swim. A bird does not need to take lessons in flying. You do not need to learn how to be divine. You only need to remember. The soul's voice was never separate from existence. It was existence calling you home. It was the universe tapping you on the shoulder saying, "Wake up. The dream is over. The drama you have created is a fiction." Once this truth settles in your being, not as an intellectual concept, but as a felt reality in your blood and bones, life becomes infinitely simple. Complexity is the creation of the mind. The mind loves to complicate. It creates problems where none exist so that it can remain busy solving them. But the soul is simple. Existence is simple. The simplest things are the most profound. You no longer seek meaning. Philosophers have wasted centuries asking, what is the meaning of life? It is a foolish question. Life is not a riddle to be solved. You are meaning. You no longer look for purpose. You are purpose. A rose bush does not ask, what is my purpose? It simply blooms. Its blooming is its purpose. Its fragrance is its meaning. You no longer try to find peace. You realize you are peace. Everything you were trying to achieve through effort, through struggle, through violence against yourself blossoms effortlessly through awareness. You begin to live with a quiet grace, a deep contentment that has no reason. People will ask you, why are you so happy? Have you won the lottery? Have you fallen in love? And you will shrug your shoulders. You have no reason. Your happiness is uncaused. Worldly happiness is always caused. You get a new car, you are happy. The car gets scratched, you are miserable. You get a compliment, you are on top of the world. Someone insults you, you are in hell. That is the slave's happiness. It depends on the outside. But the happiness of the soul is the master's happiness. It is independent. Even in chaos, there is calm. The world can be falling apart around you. Wars, economic crashes, societal madness. The surface of the ocean is turbulent, but in your depths, there is an unshakable stillness. The outer world cannot penetrate this sanctuary. Even in pain, there is a pulse of beauty. You no longer reject pain. You see it as part of the vast tapestry of life. You embrace it. You say to the pain, come, be my guest. What do you have to teach me? And the pain transforms. It becomes a teacher of compassion. Even in death there is continuity. Death is the greatest illusion created by man, because nothing that is real can be lost. Forms change. The wave rises and the wave falls, but the water remains. Your body will go, your mind will dissolve, but the pure awareness that you are has no beginning and no end. When listening becomes being, the fear of death disappears completely. The whole world transforms. You start to see that the same consciousness that beats in your heart also moves the galaxies. It is not a different energy. The sap that runs through the trees is the same life force that circulates in your veins. The light that shines in the distant stars is the same light that illuminates your eyes from within. You feel an intimacy with existence that no human relationship can equal. You are in a love affair with the cosmos. You no longer need belief. Belief is for the blind. A blind man believes in light. A man with eyes knows light. Religion has given you beliefs. Believe in God, believe in heaven, believe in hell. I say to you, drop all beliefs. Belief is a barrier to truth because you have direct knowing. When you know, you don't need to believe. You no longer seek God because you realize you and God were never two. God is not a person sitting in the sky keeping a record of your sins. God is existence. God is this very moment. You were the prayer and the answer all along. You were the seeker and the sought. If this deep realization is stirring something within you, if you feel the old chains of belief breaking, allow this energy to expand. Share this video with someone who is still trapped in the mind. And if you wish to solidify your connection to this community of truth seekers, click the join button. Becoming a member is a commitment to your own awakening, a declaration that you are ready to live as the soul. And yet, the beauty of this ultimate realization is its utter ordinariness. People think that when they become enlightened, they will grow wings and float above the ground. They think halos will appear around their heads and they will walk on water. No. The Zen masters say, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. You still walk, you still talk, you still laugh, you still work, you still love. The outer shell remains the same, but now everything carries a new fragrance, a fragrance of absolute freedom. Washing dishes becomes as sacred as meditation. You are standing at the sink, the water is warm, the soap is foaming. If you are totally present, that very act is a prayer. Sitting with a friend, drinking tea, listening to the birds, it becomes as holy as the holiest scripture. There is no hierarchy between the spiritual and the ordinary, because now everything is spiritual. Matter is spiritualized. The divine is not somewhere else. It is not in the future. It is not after death. It is here. It is in the folds of every moment, in the breath that rises and falls, in the quiet awareness that watches everything come and go. To reach this space, you must not strive. Striving is the disease. The more you strive, the further you get from the goal. You must surrender. The ego climbs toward enlightenment. It thinks enlightenment is the peak of Everest. It wants to conquer it, put a flag on it, and take a selfie. Look at me, I am enlightened. But the soul simply falls into it. It is not a climbing, it is a letting go. It happens not through effort, but through openness. Not by becoming something special, but by dissolving everything that is false. You do not need to learn how to be divine. You only need to unlearn how to be divided, unlearn the conditioning, Unlearn the jealousy, the anger, the ambition that society has pumped into you. Peel away the layers of the onion, and when all the layers are gone, what remains? Emptiness. And that emptiness is the fullness of God. But the mind will resist this emptiness. It will fight tooth and nail. The mind hates emptiness because the mind is a collector. It collects knowledge, it collects status, it collects bank balances. Emptiness means the death of the collector. So the mind will try to pull you back into the noise. It will say, this silence is boring. Let's do something. Let's create a problem. Have you noticed? When you have no problems, you create them. You sit quietly on a Sunday afternoon, everything is perfect, the sun is shining, your belly is full, and suddenly the mind says, but what about my pension in 30 years? Instantly the peace is destroyed. A fictional future has stolen the living present. The soul does not worry about the future. The soul knows that the future will take care of itself. The soul lives purely in this moment. The only time that exists is now. The only place that exists is here. When you learn to anchor yourself in the here and now, the voice of the soul becomes so loud, so clear, that it overrides all the nonsense of the mind. It becomes your internal tuning fork. Whenever you drift into falsehood, you feel the dissonance, you feel the pain, and you immediately realign. This is the art of spiritual living. It is not about escaping the marketplace. It is about being in the marketplace, but not letting the marketplace enter you. Walk through the noise, but keep your inner sanctuary untouched. Let the world scream, let the world run after shadows. You walk with the dignity of an emperor guided by the silent whisper of the eternal. And as you practice this, no, not practice, as you live this, you will see a miraculous transformation in the people around you. Consciousness is infectious, more infectious than any disease. When one person becomes a pool of silence, anyone who comes close to them is cooled by that silence. Without saying a single word of advice, you will heal people. Your presence will become a therapy. A person who is agitated will sit next to you, and within minutes, without knowing why, they will feel their breath slowing down. They will feel a weight lifting off their shoulders. They will look at you and wonder, what does this person have? You have nothing. You have become nothing. And that is your power. You have become an open flute for existence. If you value this transmission of truth, if you feel the healing power of this message, consider supporting our mission through the Super Thanks feature below. Your contribution helps to amplify this voice so that it can reach millions of others who are lost in the desert of the mind. And for deeper dives, my ebooks in the description offer step-by-step guidance into this very nothingness. Let this be your understanding. There comes a point where your soul is not speaking to you anymore. Why? Because it has nothing left to say. You have heard it fully. And in that hearing, the distance has collapsed. You have become it. The journey of listening is complete. The path has ended. And what remains is silence, alive, vibrant, eternal silence. This silence is not the end. The mind thinks silence is the end, like a graveyard. But this silence is the beginning of real life. Everything before this was just a rehearsal. You were just preparing the stage. Now the drama of truth begins. From here, you live without questions. When a question arises, you just smile at it. You see its futility. You live without fear, because what is there to lose? You don't own anything anyway. You live without doubt, because you are anchored in the eternal. You live as pure awareness, awake in every breath. But you must be vigilant. The world is a powerful hypnotist. It will try to pull you back to sleep. The advertisements, the politics, the dramas of others, they are all designed to make you forget your soul. They want to make you a consumer, not a creator. They want to make you a follower, not an individual. Society does not like individuals. Society likes sheep. A flock is easy to manage. One dog can control 1,000 sheep. But an individual, a person who listens only to their soul, they are dangerous. They are rebellious. They cannot be enslaved. They cannot be frightened into obedience. Because the worst you can do to them is kill their body, and they already know they are not the body. This is why throughout history, the mystics, the seers, the ones who listened to the soul were persecuted. Mansur al-Hallaj, Jesus, Socrates, they were killed by the politicians and the priests. Why? Because their very existence was a threat to the system of control. But I tell you, it is better to live one single moment as a lion than 100 years as a sheep. It is better to die in your truth than to live a long life in a lie. And you do not need to become a martyr. In today's world, the rebellion is internal. You don't need to fight the government. You just need to withdraw your energy from the madness. You just need to stop cooperating with the unconsciousness. When you stop running the rat race, when you step out of the competition, when you say, I have no desire to be the richest man in the graveyard, you have rebelled. That is the true revolution, the revolution of consciousness. Start this revolution inside your own heart, right now, not tomorrow. Tomorrow is a trick of the mind. Tomorrow never comes. When it comes, it is always today. The mind says, I will meditate tomorrow. I will listen to my soul when I retire. I will find peace when the kids are grown up. No, the time is now. This very breath, in this very space where you are sitting, you can make the shift. Just close your eyes for a moment. Just feel the aliveness inside your hands. Feel the beating of your heart. That is it. That is the divine knocking. Are you going to open the door, or are you going to keep it bolted from the inside because you are afraid of the vastness? Open the door. Let the winds of existence blow through your house. Yes, they will blow away some of your furniture. They will blow away your false identities. They will blow away your petty comforts. Let them go. They were dead weight anyway. When the house is empty, God enters. When the ego is gone, the soul takes the throne, and what a magnificent kingdom it is, a kingdom of bliss, a kingdom of light. You have been living in a dark basement, thinking that is the whole world, while right above you is an endless sky full of stars. Come out of the basement, come out of the mind. Your soul has been waiting for lifetimes for this moment. Do not disappoint it again. Listen, trust, act, become the dance. When you become the dance, the dancer disappears. That is the ultimate paradox of spiritual life. The ego wants to be the dancer. It wants the applause. It wants people to look and say, what a beautiful dancer. But the soul is not interested in the dancer. The soul is only interested in the dance itself. When you are truly dancing, when you are totally lost in the movement, do you exist? Are you thinking about your feet? Are you calculating the rhythm? No. If you calculate, you stumble, you miss the beat. When you are totally in the dance, you are not. Only the dance is. This is what I mean by living from the soul. It is a state of no mind. It is a state of absolute absorption in the present moment. And this absorption brings a tremendous healing. All your psychological wounds are created by the division between the dancer and the dance. You are always watching yourself. You are divided. A part of you is acting, and a part of you is judging the act. Am I doing it right? What will they think? Did I make a mistake? This constant self-judgment is a disease. It drains your energy. It leaves you exhausted. But when you listen to the soul, this division drops. You become one. The watcher and the actor merge. And in that merging, there is a release of vast amounts of trapped energy. This energy heals the body, it rejuvenates the mind, it brings a glow to your eyes. You become vibrant. You see, the mind is a fragmentation. It slices reality into pieces, past, present, future, good, bad, mine, yours. But the soul is a unifying force. It weaves everything back into the whole. When you live from the soul, you no longer see the world as a collection of separate objects. You see it as one continuous flow of energy. The tree outside your window is not just a tree, it is an extension of your own breath. The sky is not just a canopy above you, it is the vastness of your own inner space reflected outward. This realization of oneness is not a philosophical conclusion. You cannot reach it by reading the Upanishads or the Bible. You can memorize all the scriptures of the world and you will still remain ignorant. True realization is an existential experience. It happens when the noise inside you stops. When the noise stops, your boundaries melt. You realize that the skin does not limit you. The skin is not a wall, it is a bridge. You flow into the universe and the universe flows into you. When this happens, fear vanishes completely. Fear is always of the other. The other might hurt me. The other might take my money. The other might steal my lover. But when there is no other, when everything is an expression of the same divine consciousness, whom to fear? You are alone in this vast universe, but it is not a lonely aloneness. It is an all-inclusive aloneness. It is the aloneness of the ocean that contains all the waves. This is the state of fearlessness, and only a fearless person can truly love. Fear and love cannot exist together, just as darkness and light cannot exist in the same room. Most of what you call love in this world is just fear masquerading as love. The husband is afraid of being alone, so he clings to the wife. The wife is afraid of financial insecurity, so she clings to the husband. You call it love. I call it mutual exploitation. It is a business arrangement. True love arises only when you are so full of yourself, so overflowing with the joy of your own being that you want to share it. True love is a gift, not a demand. The soul loves like the sun shines. The sun does not shine because the trees need it. The sun shines because it is its nature to shine. It cannot do otherwise. If there are no trees, the sun will still shine. If there is no one to receive your love, you will still be loving. When you start living from the soul, your relationships undergo a complete revolution. You stop using people as means to an end. You stop using your children to fulfill your own unfulfilled ambitions. You stop using your partner to fill the empty hole in your heart. You say to the other, I am full, I am blissful alone. But if you join me, our bliss will multiply. Let us walk together, not as two beggars leaning on each other, but as two emperors sharing their wealth. This is the dignity of the soul. It makes you a king, a queen of your own inner empire. You no longer beg for attention. You no longer beg for validation. Please like me. Please respect me. You drop all this nonsense. You respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, the whole existence respects you. But to reach this space of royalty, You must pass through a period of intense discomfort. The transition from the mind to the soul is a painful rebirth. It is a surgical process. You are shedding an old skin, and the old skin clings. It hurts to let it go. Your habits, your addictions, your familiar ways of suffering, they will all pull you back. The mind will say, "This is too risky. This is madness. Go back to the comfortable misery you know." Misery is comfortable because it is known. Freedom is terrifying because it is unknown. In these moments of doubt, in these dark nights of the soul, you need reminders, you need anchors. This is why environments like this channel exist, to remind you when you forget. If you haven't yet, click the subscribe button and let this be your anchor. When the mind tries to pull you back into the mud, let these words pull you back into the sky. And if you feel moved by the gravity of this transformation, use the super thanks feature. Your energy exchange sustains this lighthouse for all travelers in the dark. Do not be afraid of the discomfort. Welcome it. It is a sign of life. A dead seed feels no discomfort. It stays safely in the ground, unchanging. But the seed that wants to become a tree must break. Its hard shell must crack open. It is a painful process. The seed dies so the sprout can be born. The sprout must push through the heavy, dark soil to reach the light. You are that seed. Your ego is the hard shell. It must crack. Let it crack. Do not glue it back together. Let the pain of growth wash over you. Every tear you shed in this process is washing away centuries of blindness. And as you push through the soil of your conditioning, you will reach the light. And the first thing the light will reveal to you is your own beauty. You have been told that you are a sinner. You have been told that you are flawed, that you need to improve, that you need to be saved. What absolute nonsense. You are already perfect. Perfection is your nature. You are a masterpiece of existence. God does not make junk. Everything that comes from the source is divine. Your anger is divine, your sadness is divine, your laughter is divine. It is all the play of the same energy. The moment you accept yourself totally, with all your light and all your shadows, a great relaxation happens. You stop fighting with yourself. You say, "This is who I am. I am a child of existence." And in that total acceptance, the transformation happens. Acceptance is the alchemy of the soul. Whatever you accept transforms. Whatever you fight persists. If you fight your anger, it will grow. It will hide in your basement and control you from the dark. If you accept your anger, if you sit with it, watch it, embrace it like a crying child, it dissolves. It turns into compassion. This is the power of awareness. Awareness is the fire that burns away the false and leaves only the true. Listen to your soul, and you are activating this fire. In the beginning, you may hear the soul's voice only in meditation. You sit for an hour in the morning, the room is quiet, the incense is burning, and you feel a moment of peace. You hear the whisper, but then you go to the office, you enter the traffic, you talk to your boss, and the voice is gone. You lose it. This happens to everyone. Do not be discouraged. Meditation is just a practice ground. It is like learning to swim in a shallow pool. Eventually, you have to jump into the ocean. The real test of your listening is in the marketplace. Can you hear the voice of your soul while someone is insulting you? Can you remain centered when the world is chaotic? That is the goal. Spirituality is not an escape from life. It is the art of diving deep into life without drowning. So take your silence into the noise. Walk into your day with the intention of remaining connected. Set an alarm on your phone every hour, and when it rings, stop whatever you are doing for just 10 seconds. Take a deep breath. Check in with your center. Am I here? Am I listening? This simple remembrance practiced throughout the day will weave the thread of silence into your daily life. Soon you will find that the boundary between meditation and action disappears. Work becomes worship. Cooking dinner becomes a sacred ritual. Listening to a friend becomes a prayer. Everything becomes a living meditation. And when your whole life becomes a meditation, miracles become ordinary. Synchronicities happen every day. You think of someone and the phone rings and it is them. You need a book and you find it lying on a park bench. Life starts to communicate with you through signs. You realize that you are not walking alone. The universe is conspiring in your favor. This is the effortless life. This is the state of grace. You are no longer pushing the river. You are floating on its currents. If this vision of life resonates with the deepest chambers of your heart, I invite you to take a step further. Join our community of fellow travelers by clicking the join button. Together, we hold the space for each other's growth. And for those who wish to carry this wisdom with them offline, to have it as a constant companion, explore the ebooks available in the description. They are condensed drops of this very nectar. Imagine a world where everyone listened to their soul. There would be no wars. How could you kill another if you see the divine in them? There would be no poverty. How could you hoard wealth when your heart is overflowing with sharing? There would be no ecological destruction. How could you poison the river when you know the river is your own blood? The problems of the world cannot be solved by politicians. They cannot be solved by new laws, new technologies, or new economic systems. The root of the problem is human unconsciousness. The root of the problem is that man is disconnected from his soul. When you reconnect, you are not just saving yourself, you are contributing to the healing of the whole planet. One silent, aware human being creates a ripple of peace that touches thousands. Your awakening is the greatest service you can offer to the world. Do not think of it as a selfish pursuit. It is the most selfless thing you can do. A happy person radiates happiness. A peaceful person creates a climate of peace around them. A person connected to their soul becomes a beacon of light in a dark world. So do not delay. The clock is ticking. Time is slipping through your fingers like sand. Death is approaching with every breath. Do not waste this precious opportunity. You have a human body. You have the capacity for awareness. This is a rare privilege in this vast universe. Even the angels are jealous of humanity because only through the human form can one reach the ultimate liberation. Do not trade your soul for the plastic toys of the world. Do not trade your inner silence for the applause of the crowd. The crowd is mad. Why do you seek its approval? Walk your own path. Listen to your own music. The soul speaks in the language of the present moment. The mind speaks in the language of the past and future. If you want to hear the soul, you must drop the past. All of it, the good memories, the bad memories, the traumas, the achievements. Drop it all. It is dead. It is a ghost. You cannot live with ghosts and be alive. And drop the future. The hopes, the dreams, the anxieties, the plans. The future is just an illusion, a projection of the mind. It does not exist. Only this moment exists. This is the only reality. Plunge into it. When you drink a glass of water, feel the coolness of the water going down your throat. Be totally there. When you look at the stars, don't name them. Don't say, that is Orion, that is the Big Dipper. Just look at the mystery. Let the vastness penetrate you. This childlike innocence is the door. Jesus said, unless you become like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom of God. He did not mean you should become childish. Childishness is foolishness. Childlikeness is purity. It is the ability to look at the world with fresh eyes, without the filter of knowledge. Knowledge is a burden. It makes you heavy. Wonder makes you light. The soul is a state of perpetual wonder. It is always surprised. It takes nothing for granted. Have you seen the miracle of a single leaf? Have you ever really looked at a leaf? The complexity of its veins, the specific shade of green, the way it catches the light. If you can see the miracle in a leaf, you have seen God. You don't need to go to Mecca or Jerusalem. The Holy Land is right where you are standing. The moment you are total, the moment you are completely absorbed in the now, you are in the Holy Land. To live from the soul is to be constantly in love with life. It is to say a total, unconditional yes to existence. Yes to the light, yes to the dark, yes to the joy, yes to the sorrow, yes to birth, yes to death. When you say yes, the ego dissolves. The ego exists through no. The ego is a resistance. I don't want this, I want that, this is wrong, that is right. The ego is a constant complaint against existence. The soul is a constant gratitude. It says, whatever is given is a gift. Even the thorns on the rose bush are a gift. They protect the flower. Develop this attitude of gratitude. It will open your inner ears. Start your day with gratitude before you even open your eyes in the morning. Just feel grateful that you are alive. Millions of people went to sleep last night and did not wake up this morning, but you are here. Existence has given you another day, another opportunity to love, to laugh, to meditate. End your day with gratitude. As you lie in bed, review your day and thank the universe for the experiences, even the difficult ones, especially the difficult ones, for they made you stronger. A heart filled with gratitude becomes highly sensitive. It becomes like a finely tuned instrument. It can hear the subtlest whispers of the divine. Remember, the voice of the soul is not a commandment. It does not give you orders. It gives you hints. It nudges you gently. Sometimes it will nudge you towards solitude. You will feel a sudden desire to be alone, to walk in the forest, to sit by the river. Follow it. Solitude is the diet of the soul. Just as the body needs food, the soul needs solitude to rejuvenate. Sometimes it will nudge you towards connection. You will feel an urge to reach out to an old friend, to smile at a stranger, to help someone in need. Follow it. That is the soul expressing its oneness. And sometimes the soul will guide you through the path of creativity. You will feel a sudden urge to paint, to write, to dance, to make music. Do it. Do not worry if it is good or bad. The soul does not care about critics. The soul cares about expression. Creativity is the closest you can come to God, because God is the ultimate creator. When you create, you participate in the divine nature. It does not matter what you create. You can create a beautiful garden. You can cook a delicious meal. You can create a warm and loving home. Creation is an attitude. It is bringing beauty into the world. When you live from the soul, your whole life becomes a piece of art. Your every movement becomes graceful. Your words become poetry. Your silence becomes music. This is not a distant goal for a select few. This is your birthright. You were born to live this way. You have just been distracted. You have been led astray by a society that values the false over the real, but you can turn back. The path is always open. The soul is always waiting. It never gets tired of waiting. It has infinite patience, but do not test its patience. Why wait? Begin today. In fact, begin right now. As you are listening to these words, drop your shoulders, relax your jaw, take a deep breath. Feel the silence underneath my words. Feel the space from which these words are arising. That space is your soul. It is alive. It is listening. If this transmission is shifting something within you, make sure to like the video. It is a simple gesture, but it tells the universe that you are choosing the light. It helps this frequency reach others who are ready to hear. And in the comments, share one thing you are grateful for today. Let us flood the comment section with gratitude and drown out the noise of the world. As we move deeper into this exploration, you will find that the soul has layers. It is a bottomless well. The deeper you go, the sweeter the water. In the beginning, you might just feel a sense of calm, but as you continue to listen, you will uncover hidden treasures. You will discover an innate wisdom that you never knew you had. You will find yourself knowing answers to questions you never even asked. People will come to you for advice, and the words that come out of your mouth will surprise you. You will think, where did that come from? That is not my knowledge. And you are right, it is not your knowledge. It is the wisdom of the whole. You have just become a hollow bamboo, and existence has started playing its song through you. This is the state of the sage. The sage is not someone who knows a lot of facts. The sage is someone who has emptied himself of all facts so that truth can enter, and you can be that sage. In fact, deep down, you already are. The sage is sleeping inside you. Wake him up. Listen to the silence. Listen to the gaps. Listen to the unsaid. And as you listen, you will realize that you are not just a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop. You are vast. You are infinite. You are eternal. Live from this vastness. Do not shrink yourself to fit into the small boxes created by society. You are a giant. Stretch your wings. Claim your sky. The soul is the ultimate freedom. The mind is a prison. You hold the key. The key is awareness. The key is listening. Turn the key. Walk out of the prison. The open sky is waiting for you. And when you step into that open sky, the first thing you will feel is not bliss, but vertigo. Understand this deeply, because this is where most seekers turn back. You have lived in the cage for so long that the cage feels like safety. A bird born in a cage thinks flying is an illness. When you first experience the vastness of your own soul, when the walls of the ego collapse, you will feel a dizziness. You will feel groundless. The mind will scream, "Go back. It is too vast out here. You will get lost. Who are you without your boundaries? Who are you without your title, your past, your worries?" The mind feeds on boundaries. It needs a name, a label, a country, a religion. I am Christian, I am Hindu, I am American, I am a doctor. These are the bars of your cage. When you step out, you are none of these things. You are just a pure presence. To the conditioned mind, this purity feels like death. And in a way it is. It is the death of the false so the real can be born. Do not panic when this vertigo comes. Celebrate it. It means the prison is left behind. Breathe into the groundlessness. You don't need the ground. You have wings. The society will try to pull you back. Friends will say, "You have changed. You are not the same anymore. You are becoming aloof." They will accuse you of being indifferent. They don't understand the difference between indifference and detachment. Indifference is cold, it is a closing of the heart. I don't care. Detachment is warm, it is an opening of the heart but without clinging. You care immensely, but you do not possess. You love, but you do not demand. To the sleeping world, this looks dangerous. They want you to share their neurosis. If you are not neurotic, they feel exposed. A person who lives from the soul is a mirror. When people look at you, they don't see you. They see their own emptiness. They see the compromises they have made. They see the dreams they have murdered, and that makes them angry. So they will judge you. They will call you selfish, irresponsible, crazy. Let them. Forgive them. They are speaking from their sleep. A lion does not care about the opinions of sheep. You must develop the courage of a lion. The path of the soul is not for cowards. It is for those who are willing to stand alone if necessary. Truth is a solitary journey. You are born alone, you will die alone, and the ultimate truth is found alone. But this aloneness is not loneliness. Loneliness is the pain of missing the other. Aloneness is the joy of being with yourself. When you are full of your soul, you are never lonely. You are your own best company. You can sit silently in a room for days and you will be in absolute celebration. This brings us to the quality of celebration. True spirituality is not serious. If you meet a serious saint, run away. He is not a saint, he is sick. Religion has made the world very serious. Look at the statues of saints in your churches. They look so depressed, as if they are suffering from chronic indigestion. They are carrying the weight of the cross. I say to you, drop the cross, pick up the flute. Existence is not a funeral, it is a festival. Look at the trees, they are dancing. Look at the birds, they are singing. Is the river serious? Is the ocean serious? Only man has become serious because man has lost contact with the soul. The soul is playful. In the East, we call the creation of the world Leela, a divine play. God did not work to create the world. He did not sit in an office for 6 days and then take Sunday off. That is a human projection, a very capitalistic idea of God. God danced, the universe is a dance. When you align with your soul, your life becomes a dance. You stop seeing life as a problem to be solved and start seeing it as a mystery to be lived. And in a mystery, laughter is the only right response. If this message of joyful rebellion resonates with you, if you are tired of the serious, suffocating religions of the world, then you are part of this family of the soul. Click the join button. By becoming a member, you anchor yourself in a community of dancing spirits, people who have chosen celebration over suffering. And if your heart is overflowing with gratitude for this reminder, use the Super Thanks feature. It is a beautiful way to share your abundance and ensure this music continues to play for those who are still trapped in the noise. Laughter is one of the highest forms of meditation. When you laugh a real belly laugh, your mind stops. You cannot laugh and think at the same time. Try it. Either you can think or you can laugh. The moment laughter arises, the mind is paralyzed. Time stops. You are thrown instantly into the present moment. That is why I love jokes. A joke is a spiritual device. It builds up the mind's expectations and the punchline destroys them. In that moment of destruction, in that gap, you taste the silence of the soul. So laugh more. Laugh at yourself. Laugh at the absurdity of your ego. The ego is very funny. It is a tiny microscopic speck of dust claiming to be the center of the universe. It is hilarious. When you can laugh at your own ego, you are free of it. And as you live this life of joyful aloneness, something beautiful happens. You become capable of true intimacy. Because you don't need anyone, you can finally love someone. You don't approach relationships with a begging bowl. You approach them as an overflow. When two people who are connected to their souls meet, it is not a relationship, it is a communion. There are no expectations, there is no jealousy. Jealousy belongs to the mind. Jealousy says, "You are mine, you cannot look at another." The soul says, "You are free, your freedom is my joy, fly. And if you choose to fly with me, wonderful. If you choose to fly away, I bless your wings." Can you love like that? Can you love without the desire to cage the bird? This is the highest test of the soul, to love the other so much that you want them to be absolutely free, even if that freedom takes them away from you. When love has this quality, it never dies. It becomes eternal. Physical proximity may end, but the connection remains. Because you are not connecting at the level of the body or the mind, you are connecting at the level of the soul. And souls cannot be separated. They are already one. This oneness is the ultimate reality. The physicists are discovering it now through quantum mechanics. They are finding that at the subatomic level, everything is entangled. A particle here is connected to a particle at the other end of the universe. There is no separation. Science is just catching up to what the mystics have known for thousands of years. You are the universe expressing itself as a human for a little while. You are the ocean in a drop. When you really get this, your whole posture towards life changes. You stop fighting, you stop resisting, you become soft. The mind is hard, it is like a rock. It has fixed opinions, fixed judgments. This is right, this is wrong, I like this, I hate that. The soul is like water. It has no fixed shape, it flows, it adapts. If there is a rock in the way, the water does not fight the rock. It flows around it, and yet, over time, the soft water cuts through the hard rock. The softest thing in the world overcomes the hardest. Become like water. Let life flow through you. Drop your rigid opinions. Be available to the moment. If you are open, existence will shower you with blessings you cannot even imagine. But you are closed. You are holding an umbrella. The rain of grace is falling, but you are standing under the umbrella of your ego, keeping yourself dry, and then you complain that you are thirsty. Throw away the umbrella. Get drenched. This getting drenched is what I call surrender. Surrender is a misunderstood word. The ego thinks surrender means defeat. Surrender means losing the battle. In the world of the soul, surrender means ultimate victory. It means you drop your small will and merge with the cosmic will. You say to existence, "Thy will be done. I don't know where I am going, but I trust the river." When you say this, when you truly mean it from the depths of your being, a massive weight lifts off your chest. The burden of being the doer drops. You see, you are exhausted because you think you are doing everything. You think you are growing your hair. You think you are beating your heart. You think you are digesting your food. Are you? You go to sleep and the heart keeps beating. You are in a coma and the hair keeps growing. A supreme intelligence is taking care of everything. You don't have to carry the sun on your shoulders. You can put it down. The sun will keep rising. The stars will keep shining. Existence is running perfectly without your management. You are just a guest here. Be a good guest. Enjoy the hospitality of the universe. And yet, in this relaxation, a tremendous power arises. Action happens through you, but it is not your action. It is divine action. You become an instrument of the whole. If the whole needs to speak through you, it will speak. If it needs to build through you, it will build. If it needs to remain silent through you, it will remain silent. You are just available. This availability is the greatest prayer. You don't need to recite words. Your very presence is a prayer. Look at the flowers. Do they pray? Their blooming is their prayer. Look at the rivers. Their flowing is their prayer. You just be yourself authentically, totally, and your life becomes a prayer. If this vision of life feels like a cool breeze to your feverish mind, do not let it pass as mere entertainment. Internalize it. Share this video with someone who is constantly fighting life, someone who is exhausted. Let them hear the invitation to relax, and drop a comment below. Write, "I surrender to the flow," as a physical affirmation of your inner shift. When you declare it, it deepens. Now, as you relax into this flow, you will encounter the great unknown. The mind is terrified of the unknown. It wants a map. It wants to know what will happen tomorrow. It buys insurance policies for everything. It consults astrologers. It tries to control the future, but the future is inherently unknown. And the soul loves the unknown. The unknown is the domain of adventure. If you knew everything that was going to happen, life would be a repetition. It would be deadly boring. It would be like watching a movie you have already seen 100 times. The beauty of life is its unpredictability. The mystery is the juice. The soul thrives in mystery. It does not ask for guarantees. It does not ask for safety. Safety is for dead people in their graves. They are very safe. Nothing ever happens to them. To be alive means to be vulnerable. To be alive means to be in danger. Live dangerously. And by dangerous, I don't mean foolishly. I don't mean jumping off a cliff. I mean taking the inner risk. The risk of loving with an open heart, the risk of speaking your truth when it is unpopular, the risk of trusting your intuition over logic, the risk of being totally authentic in a world of hypocrites. That is the true danger. That is the true adventure. When you live like this, every day is a surprise. You wake up in the morning and you don't know what is going to happen. You don't carry the dead weight of yesterday, and you don't carry the anxious projection of tomorrow. You are just here, fresh, clean, innocent. This innocence is the highest peak of consciousness. It is the return to the source. You started as an innocent child, but that innocence was unconscious. You didn't know you were innocent, then you lost it. You became knowledgeable. You became clever. You became a calculating machine. Now, through awareness, through listening to the soul, you return to that innocence. But this time, it is conscious. It is luminous. You are a child again, but a wise child. A child who has gone through the world, seen the madness, and chosen the simple truth. This is the second birth. Jesus called it being born again. It is not about changing your religion. It is about changing your center of being, moving from the head to the heart, from the ego to the soul. And in this new birth, the world looks completely different. You see beauty where you previously saw ugliness. You see God in the face of the beggar. You see miracles in the falling of a leaf. You stop complaining about the darkness and you become the light. Most people just complain. The world is bad. Society is corrupt. People are selfish. They sit in the dark and curse the darkness. What is the point? Will cursing the darkness bring light? No. The darkness is just the absence of light. It has no positive existence. You cannot fight it directly. If you want to remove darkness, you have to bring in light. Light a candle. Become a candle. Your soul is that candle. Ignited with awareness, you become a source of light. And wherever you go, the darkness simply disappears. You don't have to change the world. You just have to change yourself. And when you change, your world changes, because you are the world. The outer is just a projection of the inner. If you are violent inside, you will see a violent world. You will find enemies everywhere. If you are peaceful inside, the world becomes a sanctuary. Even the enemy looks like a friend in disguise. This is the alchemy. The world is your mirror. Do not try to clean the mirror. If your face is dirty, cleaning the mirror will not help. Clean your face. Clean your inner being. Wash away the dust of the mind with the water of awareness. Listen to the soul. It is the ultimate cleanser. Its voice is pure, untainted by the corruptions of the world. In this listening, you will find that time itself changes. Psychological time disappears. You don't feel in a rush anymore. The obsession with speed drops. You realize you have all of eternity. The mind says, hurry up, time is running out, you are getting old, achieve something before you die. The mind creates panic. The soul says, relax, there is nowhere to go. You are already here, and here is the only place there is. Eternity is not a long time. Eternity is the absence of time. Eternity is this vertical dive into the present moment. When you are totally in the now, time stops. You step out of the river of time and onto the banks of eternity. This is nirvana. This is moksha. This is the kingdom of God. It is not a place up in the sky. It is a dimension of depth right here, right now. You just have to pivot your attention. Instead of looking out, look in. Instead of listening to the noise, listen to the silence. And the beautiful thing is, you don't need any special qualifications. You don't need a PhD. You don't need to know Sanskrit. You don't need to do difficult yoga postures. You just need to be sincere. You just need a deep longing for the truth. If the longing is there, the way will open. Seek and you shall find, they say. But I say, listen and you are already found. You are not lost. You have just fallen asleep. My words are just an alarm clock. Ringing, ringing, ringing. Wake up to your own majesty. Wake up to your own divinity. Do not settle for the crumbs thrown by society. You are a guest at the royal banquet of existence. Claim your seat. If this message has stirred the giant within you, do not let the momentum fade. Feed this fire. In the description, you will find my ebooks. They are not to be read like novels. They are meant to be consumed slowly, meditated upon, lived. Consider them your daily bread for the soul. And if you wish to express the gratitude of a waking spirit, the super thanks button is there for you. Your support is the wind beneath the wings of this channel. Also, click like so the algorithm brings this wake-up call to other sleeping giants. Remember, the voice of the soul is subtle. It does not impose. In the noisy marketplace of your life, it is easy to miss. So you must make a habit of tuning in. Just like you tune a radio to catch the right frequency, you must tune your awareness. How to tune it? By dropping the unnecessary. Look at your life. How much of it is absolutely unnecessary? How many of the conversations you have are just gossip, just filling the silence? How many of the things you buy do you actually need? How many of the worries in your head are real? 99% of your life is unnecessary baggage. Drop it. Simplify. The closer you get to the soul, the simpler your life becomes. You don't need much to be blissful. A few clothes, simple food, a roof over your head, and the vast sky of awareness. The rich man is not the one who has the most. The rich man is the one who needs the least. When your needs are few, you are free. When your needs are endless, you are a slave. The mind is a factory of needs. It creates new desires every day. The soul has no desires, the soul is already fulfilled. Tap into that fulfillment. It is your inner reservoir. Whenever you feel depleted, whenever you feel tired of the world, just close your eyes and dive into that reservoir. Drink from the waters of your own being. You will come out refreshed, rejuvenated, ready to play the game of life again. But this time, you will know it is just a game. You won't take it seriously. You will play with passion, but without attachment to the outcome. This is the art of living. This is the ultimate wisdom, to live in the world, but not be of the world. To be a lotus flower. The lotus grows in the mud, but its petals remain untouched by the mud. The water drops fall on the lotus leaf, but they do not wet it, they just roll off. Be like the lotus. Live in the muddy world of politics, of greed, of anger, of confusion, but remain untouched. Let the events of the world roll off you like water drops on a lotus leaf. Keep your inner center pure, keep your inner sky clear. Listen to the soul, trust the silence, and watch the miracle of your own unfolding. This unfolding is not a linear journey. The mind thinks in straight lines, A to B, B to C. It wants progress. It wants to measure how spiritual you are becoming. Yesterday, I meditated for 20 minutes. Today, for 30 minutes. I am getting closer to God. This is the arithmetic of the ego. The soul does not work in straight lines. The soul works in circles, in spirals. It is not a ladder you climb. It is a deepening, a sinking into your own center. In this sinking, you will encounter the watcher. In the East, we call it Sakshi, the witnessing consciousness. This is the ultimate key to living from the soul. Right now, you are identified with the actor. You think you are the character in the movie. You are crying on the screen. You are fighting on the screen. You are dying on the screen. But the soul is the screen itself, and even more than that, it is the pure awareness watching the movie. When you sit in a cinema, you know it is just light projected on a white sheet. But within 5 minutes, you forget. You become tense. If there is danger on the screen, your heart beats faster. If there is tragedy, tears come to your eyes. Why? Because you have lost the witness. You have become identified. Your life is exactly the same. The wife leaves you. The bank account goes empty. The body gets sick. These are all scenes on the screen of life. But you become so absorbed in them that you forget the watcher in the dark. You forget the one who is simply seeing it all happen. The soul is that watcher. It stands on a high hill. Down in the valley, the battle of life is raging. There is victory, there is defeat, there is blood, there is celebration. But the watcher on the hill remains untouched. The sun shines on the watcher. The breeze blows, the silence is absolute. When you learn to shift your center of gravity from the actor in the valley to the watcher on the hill, you become invincible. Not because you have an armor of steel, but because you realize there is nothing to defend. The actor can be insulted, the watcher cannot. The actor can fail, the watcher just watches the failure. The actor can die, the watcher watches the death. This witnessing is the only eternal thing in you. How to cultivate this witness? Begin with the body. The body is your most immediate anchor to the present moment. The mind is always wandering in the past or the future, but the body is always here. Watch your body. Walk down the street and watch yourself walking. Feel the feet touching the earth. Feel the breeze on your face. Move your hand and watch it moving from the inside. Don't do it mechanically. You have been walking like a robot your whole life. You eat without tasting. You look without seeing. Bring awareness to the simplest acts. When you take a shower, feel the water. Be totally there with the water. When you eat, chew with absolute consciousness. Taste the food. Feel gratitude for the earth that produced it. This simple watching of the body will slowly detach you from the mind. You will start to see a gap between yourself and your actions. Then move deeper. Watch the mind. This is more subtle. Thoughts are very fast. They come like a swarm of bees. But if you sit quietly and just watch the traffic of the mind without judging it, a miracle happens. If you say, "This is a good thought, I want to keep it," you have become identified. If you say, "This is an evil thought, I must push it away," you are fighting and you are identified. Just watch. Like a man sitting on the bank of a river watching the water flow. Muddy water comes, he watches. Clean water comes, he watches. Leaves float by, he watches. He does not jump into the river. When you watch the mind in this way, the traffic slows down. The gaps between the thoughts become bigger. One thought passes, and there is a gap. Then another thought comes. In that gap, there is no mind. In that gap, the soul shines through. And finally, watch your emotions. Emotions are even stickier than thoughts. A thought is dry, an emotion is wet, it pulls you in. Anger, sadness, jealousy, lust. When anger comes, don't repress it and don't express it. Just watch it. See it rising in your belly like a dark cloud. See it capturing your chest. Watch the heat rising in your face. Just be a scientist of your own inner world. If you can watch anger without becoming angry, the anger will dissipate. It has no fuel. It feeds on your identification. The moment you disconnect the fuel line of awareness, the emotion dies of starvation. What is left behind is a vast, empty, luminous sky. This is the state of the Buddha. This is the state of the Christ. It is not an exclusive club for a few historical figures. It is your inherent potential. It is the birthright of every human being. If you are beginning to touch this sky, if the clouds of your mind are parting even for a split second, do not let the momentum fade. To keep this inner fire burning, you need the right fuel. In the description, you will find my ebooks. They are not just collections of words. They are encoded with this silence. Reading them is a meditation. Use the super thanks feature to honor the value of this truth in your life. This exchange of energy keeps the wheel of the Dharma turning in the digital age. Do not think that living as the watcher makes you cold or indifferent. This is a common misunderstanding. People think, if I am just watching, I will not love, I will become a stone. On the contrary, only the watcher can truly love, because only the watcher is free of need. When you are identified with the mind, your love is a manipulation. You love someone because they fulfill your ego. They tell you that you are beautiful. They give you security. They make you feel important. If they stop doing these things, your love turns to hate in a single moment. Is that love? It is a business transaction. But when you are the watcher, you don't need the other to fulfill you. You are already full. The watcher is a state of supreme bliss. Out of this bliss, a new kind of love arises, a love that gives without asking for anything in return, a love that is a pure sharing of your inner abundance. You love the tree, you love the dog, you love the stranger on the street. Your love is no longer targeted at a specific object. It becomes your aura. You walk in love. You breathe in love. This is the love of the mystics. This is what Jesus meant when he said, God is love. He did not mean God has love. He meant the ultimate state of consciousness is love. When you live from the soul, your creativity also explodes. Creativity is not just painting pictures or writing poems. Creativity is a way of life. It is the ability to respond to every moment in a fresh new way. The mind is uncreative. The mind is a repeating mechanism. It has a database of the past and it reacts to the present based on the past. That is why your life feels boring. You are responding to today's sunset with yesterday's eyes. The soul has no past. It meets the present moment naked. And because it is naked, its response is spontaneous, original, alive. If you are a cook and you cook from the mind, you will follow the recipe mechanically. The food will be dead, it will fill the belly, but it will not nourish the spirit. But if you cook from the soul, you will be in tune with the ingredients. You will smell the spices, you will feel the texture of the vegetables. The cooking will become a dance, and the food that comes out of that dance will be ambrosia. It will have a different vibration. Everything you touch will turn to gold. That is the real alchemy. The alchemists were not trying to turn base metals into physical gold. That was just a metaphor for the fools. The real alchemy was turning the base metal of human unconsciousness into the gold of divine awareness. You are the laboratory and you are the experiment. But to conduct this experiment, you need courage. You have to leave the crowd. The crowd is moving in a completely different direction. The crowd is moving towards more money, more power, more prestige. The crowd is moving towards madness. If you listen to the soul, your path will diverge from the crowd. You may have to walk alone. You may be misunderstood. Socrates was poisoned. Al-Hallaj was cut into pieces. Jesus was crucified. Why? Because the crowd cannot tolerate the presence of a free soul. A free soul reminds the prisoners that they are in a prison. And the prisoners don't want to know. They have decorated their prison cells. They have put up nice curtains. They have bought expensive furniture. They don't want someone telling them, this is a prison, the door is open, let's go. They will kill the messenger to protect their illusion. But do not be afraid. Today they cannot crucify you physically. The world has become a little more civilized in its cruelty. Now they will just ignore you, or they will call you eccentric. Let them. It is better to be a sane eccentric than to be a mad conformist. And you are not entirely alone. Across the world there are thousands of people waking up. A new consciousness is arising. The old world is collapsing under the weight of its own greed, and a new world is trying to be born. You are the midwives of this new world. Your silence, your awareness, your love, these are the forces that will heal the planet. This is why the concept of the Sangha, the community of truth seekers, is so vital. You need to connect with others who are walking this path. Alone, it is easy to doubt. The winds of society are strong. But together, you create an energy field of awareness. Click the join button and become part of this Sangha. It is a declaration that you belong to the family of the soul, and hit like to signal your resonance with the eternal truth. Each interaction weaves a stronger net of consciousness across the globe. Let us explore deeper into the mechanics of the mind. Why is the mind so resistant to the soul? The mind is an instrument of survival. It was developed through millions of years of evolution to protect the body. Its job is to look for danger. That is why the mind is always negative. It remembers the snake, not the beautiful sunset. It remembers the insult, not the compliment. Because remembering the snake helped your ancestors survive. But now the physical dangers are mostly gone. You don't have tigers chasing you. But the mind hasn't changed its programming. So it creates psychological tigers. What will my boss say? What if the stock market crashes? What if nobody loves me? These are the new tigers. The mind is addicted to fear. If there is no fear, the mind feels useless. It loses its grip. The soul, on the other hand, is the dimension of immortality. The soul knows that you cannot be destroyed. Fire cannot burn it, water cannot wet it, swords cannot cut it. The soul is absolutely safe. So the mind and the soul are in conflict. The mind says, beware, the world is dangerous. The soul says, relax, the universe is your home. To listen to the soul, you have to bypass the mind's survival instinct. You have to say to the mind, thank you for trying to protect me. You did a good job in the jungle, but I don't live in the jungle anymore. Now I want to live, not just survive. Survival is not life. Breathing in and out, pumping blood, going to the office, paying bills, making babies and dying. This is not life. This is biology. The animals are doing it. Even the insects are doing it. What makes you different? Life begins only when you ask the question, who am I? Life begins when you start searching for the source, and the source is found in the gap between two breaths. I have spoken of watching the breath. This is the ancient method of vipassana. Buddha gave this method to the world. It is the simplest and most profound technique ever invented. You don't need any dogma. You don't need any temple. You just need your breath. The breath is the bridge between the body and the soul. It is the thread that ties the invisible to the visible. When you breathe in, the breath goes to a certain point inside, just below the navel. For a fraction of a second, it stops. Then it turns back and goes out. It goes out to a certain point in the universe, stops for a fraction of a second, and comes back in. If you can catch that gap, that moment of suspension when the breath is neither coming in nor going out, you have caught the soul. In that gap, time does not exist. In that gap, you are not a body, you are not a mind, you are pure existence. Practice this. As you lie in bed before sleep, just watch the breath. Don't change it. Don't do deep breathing. Just watch the natural rhythm and feel the gap. Within a few weeks of doing this, you will feel a new center developing inside you, a center of gravity. You will feel grounded. People are ungrounded. They are like leaves in the wind. A little breeze of criticism comes and they are blown away. A little breeze of flattery comes and they are flying high. They have no center. When you find the center of the soul, you become like a mountain. The winds of the world blow, but the mountain does not move. The clouds come and go, but the mountain remains. This stability is what we call inner peace. And from this peace, a great compassion arises. When you are stable, you can see the pain of others clearly. When you are shaking, you cannot see anything. Your own pain blinds you. When you are at peace, you look at the angry man and you don't feel anger in return. You feel compassion. You see that his anger is just a cry for help. He is burning inside. Why should you add fuel to his fire? You shower him with the cool water of your understanding. You look at the greedy man, the one accumulating millions, and you don't feel envy. You feel pity. You see that he is a beggar. He is trying to fill his inner emptiness with paper money. It will never work. Compassion is the shadow of the soul. Where the soul is, compassion follows. If you feel this compassion rising in you, share this video. Share it with someone who is struggling, someone who is lost in the maze of the mind. Be the catalyst for their awakening. Subscribe to the channel so that we can continue this journey of deepening together. As you anchor yourself in the soul, you will also notice a change in your relationship with time. The past and the future will lose their grip on you. You see, the mind creates time to postpone living. The mind says, I will be happy when I get married. I will be happy when I buy a house. I will be happy when I retire. Happiness is always in the future, but tomorrow never comes. By the time tomorrow arrives, it has become today, and your mind has already projected a new tomorrow. You are chasing the horizon. You run towards it, and it moves further away. The soul says, be happy now. There are no conditions for happiness. If you cannot be happy right now, as you are sitting in this chair, breathing this air, you will never be happy. Even if God gives you the whole world, you will find something to complain about. Happiness is a decision. It is the decision to accept this moment as it is, without conditions. When you make this decision, time collapses. You enter the eternal now. In the eternal now, there is no boredom. Boredom is a product of the mind. The mind gets used to things. The first time you see a rose, you are thrilled. The second time you say, it's just a rose. The third time you don't even look at it. The mind has labeled it, filed it, and moved on. But to the soul, every moment is brand new. The rose you see today is not the rose you saw yesterday. The river you step into today is not the same river. Everything is in a state of constant flux, constant creation. When you look with the eyes of the soul, existence is perpetually fresh. Even the face of your partner, whom you have seen for 20 years, looks new. You discover depths in them you never noticed before. This brings the romance back into life, the ultimate romance. People search for soulmates. Where is my soulmate? They cry. You will never find your soulmate outside. Your soul is your mate. The union you are looking for is not with another body. It is the union of your own divided energies, the union of your masculine and feminine, the union of your mind and your heart. When this inner marriage happens, you are complete. You are a circle. And out of this completeness, if you meet someone, it is a beautiful sharing. But you're not looking for completion. Stop looking outside. The treasure is buried in your own house. For lifetimes, you have been digging in other people's gardens. You have been digging in the marketplace. You have been digging in the universities. You have been digging in the holy temples. Stop digging outside. Take the shovel and dig within. The first layer you will hit is the mind. It will be full of garbage, thoughts, memories, conditioning. Don't be discouraged. Keep digging. The second layer you will hit is the heart. It will be full of emotions, grief, joy, pain, love. Allow them, feel them, and keep digging. Finally, beneath the mind and beneath the heart, you will strike the water of the soul, pure, clear, untainted. Drink from it, bathe in it, let it wash away the dust of centuries. You are a divine being. Do not let anyone tell you otherwise. The politicians want you to feel small so they can control you. The priests want you to feel guilty so they can sell you forgiveness. The advertisers want you to feel inadequate so they can sell you products. They are all invested in your unconsciousness. But I am telling you, you are vast, you are pure, you are divine. No one has authority over you. You are the master of your own destiny. Listen to the soul and you reclaim your throne. And once you sit on that throne, there is no turning back. You will never be able to live the old unconscious life again. It will feel suffocating. You have tasted the sky. You can no longer crawl on the earth. This is the point of no return. In the ancient traditions, this is called initiation. It is not something a guru does to you. True initiation happens from within. It is when you make the absolute commitment to truth, no matter the cost. Are you ready to make that commitment? Are you ready to let the false die? If the answer is yes, then rejoice. The journey has begun, and remember, you do not have to carry the baggage. Travel light. Drop the guilt. Drop the regrets. What has happened in the past is gone. It was just a dream. You were sleepwalking. You cannot be blamed for what you did in your sleep. Now you are awake. Now start fresh. Forgive yourself. Forgive everyone who has wronged you. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It only harms you. When you forgive, you release the heavy chains of the past. You become light enough to fly. The soul is a bird of the open sky. Let it fly. And as it flies, it will sing a song of silence, a song of love, a song of eternal life. Listen to that song. Become that song. And when you become that song, a beautiful paradox occurs. The singer disappears. There is only singing. The dancer disappears. There is only the dance. The listener disappears. There is only the listening. This is the ultimate peak of human evolution. You have transcended the limitations of your biology, your history, and your psychology. You have entered the dimension of the eternal. But do not mistake this for some kind of trance state where you become unaware of the world. No, it is the exact opposite. You become hyper-aware. Your senses become sharp, clean. You see colors you never noticed before. You hear the subtleties in people's voices. You feel the texture of the air on your skin. You are more in the world than you have ever been, but you are no longer bound by it. You are walking on the earth, but your head is in the stars. This is the state of the Zen master. He chops wood, but his chopping is not a chore. It is an art. He carries water, but the water is holy. He eats his rice, and it is a sacrament. Why? Because the center of his being is empty, and out of that emptiness, a continuous stream of joy flows. Joy is not something you get from outside, it is your inherent aroma. When the ego is removed, joy simply radiates. It is like removing a rock from the mouth of a spring. The water was always there, ready to gush. You just had to remove the rock. The ego is that rock, the heavy, dead, suffocating rock of your past conditioning. Roll it away. Resurrect yourself. Once you are resurrected, you will see that life itself is the greatest teacher. You don't need a guru anymore. The guru was only needed to point you towards your own inner guru. A true master never makes you dependent on him. A true master makes you independent. He kicks you out of the nest so you can use your own wings. Your soul is your master now. And it speaks through every situation. If you get sick, the soul is teaching you about the fragility of the body and the indestructibility of awareness. If you lose your money, the soul is teaching you about the impermanence of the material world. If your lover betrays you, the soul is teaching you non-attachment. Everything becomes a lesson. Everything is grist for the mill of your awakening. You no longer resist life. You say, bring it on. Give me your worst and give me your best. I am ready to absorb it all. This is the attitude of the spiritual warrior, not fighting with weapons, but fighting with awareness, slashing through illusions with the sword of truth. If you feel the warrior within you awakening, if you are ready to drop the victim mentality and claim your spiritual sovereignty, I urge you to click the subscribe button. Make a pact with your own evolution. And if you are moved to contribute to the awakening of others, use the super thanks feature below. Your energy supports this global network of light. Understand that as you walk this path, the tests will become more subtle. The ego does not die easily. It is a chameleon. When you throw it out the front door, it sneaks in through the back window, disguised as humility. It will say, "Look how humble I am. I have no ego." That is the ultimate ego. The spiritual ego is the most dangerous trap of all. You see people in the ashrams wearing orange robes, eating vegetarian food, meditating for hours, and their ego has become huge. They look down on the ordinary people. Oh, these poor materialistic fools, they eat meat, they smoke cigarettes. I am pure. This purity is a disease. It is just another form of separation. The soul does not judge. The soul looks at the sinner and the saint with the same loving eyes. The soul knows that the sinner is just a saint who has forgotten, and the saint is just a sinner who has remembered. There is no essential difference. So beware of the spiritual ego. The moment you think you have arrived, you are lost. The journey is endless. There is no finish line. God is not a destination. God is an infinite horizon. You keep moving. You keep expanding. The mystery never ends. If you think you have solved the mystery, you have just closed your eyes. Stay open. Stay as a student of life forever. The master is the ultimate student. He is always learning. He is always in awe. Look at the night sky. The scientists can tell you the chemical composition of the stars. They can tell you the distance in light years. But can they explain the beauty? Can they explain the mystery of how this vast, infinite space holds it all together in perfect harmony? The mind dissects, the soul unifies. The mind gives you information, the soul gives you transformation. Information is cheap. You can find it in libraries, on the internet. Transformation is rare. It requires your blood, your sweat, your tears. It requires you to put yourself on the line. You cannot learn to swim by reading a book about swimming. You have to jump into the water. You have to swallow some water. You have to panic a little. And then suddenly the body learns the rhythm. Meditation is the same. You cannot learn it by listening to me. My words are just fingers pointing at the moon. Don't become obsessed with the finger. Look at the moon. The moon is your own inner silence. Jump into the water of your soul. Don't stand on the shore calculating the risks. Love is a risk. Life is a risk. Only death is secure. And you are not here to die comfortably. You are here to live dangerously, to explore the highest peaks of your potential. As you explore, you will find that your very body changes. Your cells start vibrating at a different frequency. The stress hormones dissipate, the body heals itself. Medical science is just beginning to understand the connection between the mind and the body, but the mystics have known it for millennia. The body is the shadow of the soul. When the soul is at peace, the body functions harmoniously. When the soul is in turmoil, the body falls ill. Listen to your body. It is speaking the language of the soul. If your stomach is tight, your soul is telling you that you are swallowing something you cannot digest, perhaps a toxic relationship or a job that compromises your integrity. If your throat is blocked, your soul is telling you that you are suppressing your truth. Do not run to the doctor immediately to suppress the symptom with a pill. Sit with the symptom. Ask it, "What are you trying to tell me?" Your body is your temple. Treat it with reverence. Feed it with pure food. Give it rest. Let it move. Let it dance. But do not become obsessed with the body. You are in the body, but you are not the body. You are the guest. The body is the host. Be a gracious guest, but remember that one day you will have to check out. Death is the final exam. How you face death will reveal how you lived. If you lived from the mind, you will die in terror. You will cling to the bed sheets. You will cry, "Give me one more day," because the mind has not lived. The mind has only postponed living, and now time is up. But if you have lived from the soul, you will welcome death like an old friend. You will say, "Come, I have experienced life fully. I have danced, I have loved, I have meditated. I am ready for the next adventure." Death is not a period at the end of the sentence. It is a comma. The journey continues. The soul drops the body like taking off old clothes, and it moves on. To live without the fear of death is the ultimate freedom. How to reach this state? Die every day. When you go to sleep at night, die. Let go of everything. Forgive the whole world. Forgive yourself. Drop all your attachments. Enter sleep as if you are entering death. If you can do this, your sleep will become samadhi. It will become a deep spiritual rest, and in the morning you will wake up completely new, reborn. This daily practice of dying to the past is the secret of eternal youth. The body ages, but the soul remains as fresh as the morning dew. In this freshness, you will discover the power of intuition. Intuition is the highest faculty of human consciousness. It is higher than intellect. Intellect works step by step, A, B, C, D. Intuition jumps directly from A to Z. It just knows. When you live from the soul, you don't need to analyze everything. You feel the rightness of a decision in your bones. Should I take this job? Should I marry this person? The mind will make a list of pros and cons. It will give you a headache. And even after making the list, it will remain doubtful. The soul gives you an immediate answer. It is a feeling of expansion or contraction. If it feels expansive, if it brings a sense of light and space, it is a yes from the universe. If it feels contracting, heavy, dark, it is a no. Trust this yes and no. Even if the whole world says you are wrong. The whole world is often wrong. The majority is almost always wrong. Truth has always been the monopoly of a few individuals. So do not look for validation from the crowd. Walk your own path. It may be lonely, but it is royal. And as you walk, leave footprints of love behind you. Do not try to change others. That is a subtle violence. Accept people as they are. Acceptance is the greatest transformation. When you accept someone totally without judging them, a miracle happens. In the warmth of your acceptance, they begin to change on their own. The ice of their defenses melts. This is how the master works. He doesn't preach, he loves, he doesn't argue, he accepts. Be that master in your own life. Be the master of your own destiny. You have the power. It is within you right now. It is not something you have to acquire in the future. It is your very breath. All you need is to stop looking outside. Close your eyes, drop into your heart and listen. Listen to the silence. Listen to the space between my words. This is your home. If this journey resonates with your inner truth, if you feel the stirrings of your own mastery, do not walk this path in isolation. Click the join button and become a pillar of this community. Your commitment helps us build a sanctuary for the soul in a world of noise. And if these words have unlocked a door within you, use the Super Thanks feature to share that energy of breakthrough. Together, we are waking up. Remember, the soul is not an object to be possessed. You cannot say, "I have a soul." You are the soul. It is your very subjectivity. The mind turns everything into an object. It turns love into an object, God into an object, the soul into an object. But you are the subject. You are the one who is looking, the one who is listening. You cannot see your own eyes, can you? You can see the world through your eyes, but you cannot see the eyes themselves. If you want to see your eyes, you need a mirror. Meditation is that mirror. When you close your eyes and sit silently, you are looking into the mirror of awareness. You see your thoughts passing by, you see your emotions passing by, and in the background you see the pure screen of consciousness on which everything is happening. That is you, the changeless in the midst of the changing. Life is a river of change. Childhood changes into youth, youth changes into old age, health changes into sickness, poverty changes into wealth. Everything is shifting. If you identify with the changing, you will always be in anxiety, you will always be insecure, because what you have today will be gone tomorrow. But if you identify with the changeless, with the witness, you become absolutely secure. You know that whatever happens in the outer world, your inner core remains untouched. This is the rock upon which you must build your life. When you're anchored in this rock, you can play in the waves, you can enjoy the drama of life, you can cry in a sad movie, but you know it is just a movie. You don't lose yourself. This is the secret of bliss. Bliss is not the opposite of pain. Bliss is the ability to embrace both pain and pleasure with equanimity. The mind swings like a pendulum. Pleasure, pain, joy, sorrow, excitement, depression, it is always swinging. The soul is the center of the pendulum where there is no movement. It is the eye of the storm. Find that eye. It is waiting for you. It has been waiting for you for millions of years. Do not keep it waiting any longer. The time is ripe. Humanity is at a crossroads. We can either destroy ourselves with the madness of the mind, with our nuclear weapons and our greed, or we can take a quantum leap in consciousness. We can shift from the mind to the soul. This is not just a personal journey, it is a planetary imperative. Your awakening is the hope of the world, so take this seriously, not with a heavy seriousness, but with a sincere devotion. Devote your life to truth. Devote your life to love. Devote your life to the soul. When you do this, existence celebrates. The trees bow down to you. The stars sing for you. The whole universe rejoices that one of its children has come home. Welcome home. You are the infinite. You are the eternal. You are the divine. Never forget this. Remind yourself every day. Remind yourself with every breath. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am the eternal soul. Chant this silently. Let it sink into your marrow, let it become your heartbeat, and then watch the miracle unfold. Watch your life transform into a symphony of grace. The struggle is over, the seeking is over, there is only being, and being is enough. If you are ready to make this transition from doing to being, if you are ready to drop the struggle, show your alignment by clicking the like button. Let it be a symbol of your inner yes. And for those of you who want the blueprint for this transformation in your pocket, download my ebooks through the link in the description. They are companions for the silent traveler. As we delve into the final layers of this mystery, understand that the soul's language is often paradoxical. The mind hates paradoxes. The mind wants logic. It wants things to be either black or white. But existence is a rainbow of contradictions. To find yourself, you must lose yourself. To become full, you must become empty. To reach the highest peak, you must become the lowest valley. These are the paradoxes of the soul. Look at the valley. It is humble, it lies low, and because it lies low, all the water from the mountain peaks flows into it. The valley becomes green, lush, full of life. The mountain peaks remain dry, barren, and frozen in their pride. Be the valley, be humble. Receptivity is the key. The male energy is aggressive. It goes out to conquer. The mind is male. It wants to penetrate nature, to dominate it. The soul is feminine. It is receptive. It waits. It is a womb. It allows the divine to enter. Whether you are a man or a woman in the body, your soul is feminine. You have to become a womb for God. You have to become a bride waiting for the bridegroom. This waiting is not passive. It is a passionate, intense, vibrating waiting, like a lover waiting for the beloved. Every footstep makes your heart jump. Is it him? Every rustle of the leaves makes you look. Has he come? This is the state of the devotee. This is the state of the lover. And when the divine enters, it does not come with a loud trumpet. It comes like a thief in the night, quietly, silently. Suddenly you realize that the guest has arrived, and the guest was always the host. You and the divine merge. There is a famous Sufi story. A lover knocks on the door of the beloved. The beloved asks, "Who is it?" The lover says, "It is me." The beloved says, "Go away. There is no room in this house for two." The lover is rejected. He wanders in the desert for years, meditating, burning in the fire of separation. His ego is destroyed. He returns and knocks on the door again. The beloved asks, "Who is it?" This time the lover says, "It is you," and the door opens. When you can say to existence, "It is you, I am not, only you are," the door opens, the door of the kingdom of God. This is the ultimate surrender, the drop disappearing into the ocean. But I tell you a deeper secret. The drop does not just disappear into the ocean. In that moment of disappearance, the drop becomes the ocean. You don't lose anything. You gain the infinite. You lose your prison. You gain the sky. You lose your misery. You gain eternal bliss. You lose your death. You gain immortality. What a beautiful bargain. But the mind says, "I am losing my identity. I am losing my I." Let the I go. What has this I ever given you except headaches and heartaches? What has the ego ever produced except conflict, war, and suffering? Drop the I, become a we, become the whole. This is the invitation of the soul. It is calling you. Can you hear it? It is the silence behind my voice. It is the silence between your thoughts. Close your eyes. Listen. Just listen. No effort. No desire. Just pure, innocent listening. You are the universe. You are the light. Be blessed. This blessing is not something bestowed upon you by a God in the sky. It is your own inner fragrance. When the flower of the soul opens, the fragrance is released. That fragrance is the blessing. It has always been within you. Now the question arises, how do you carry this fragrance into the madness of your daily life? It is easy to feel blissful when you are sitting with your eyes closed, listening to these words, surrounded by the silence of your room. But tomorrow morning, the alarm clock will ring, the traffic will start, the boss will yell, the children will cry, the bills will need to be paid. Will this silence survive the assault of the marketplace? It will survive, but only if you do not separate the marketplace from the meditation. The moment you divide life into the sacred and the profane, you create a split. You think sitting in the temple is sacred and working in the office is profane. You think reading a scripture is holy and cooking dinner is mundane. This is the great illusion. There is no division. Everything is sacred. When you go to the office tomorrow, do not leave your soul at home. Walk into that office as if you're walking into a temple. The people you interact with, the angry boss, the gossiping colleagues, they are all divine beings playing a role. They have just forgotten their lines. They are acting out a tragedy of unconsciousness. Do not get caught in their drama. Look at them with the eyes of the soul. See the hidden Buddha within them. When you look at someone with the eyes of the soul, you actually help them remember who they are. Your gaze becomes a catalyst. If you look at someone with judgment, you reinforce their ego. If you look at someone with pure awareness, you bypass their ego and touch their soul directly. This is the secret of transformation. You don't need to preach. Your presence is the sermon, and when the chaos of the world becomes too loud, do not fight it. Use it. Let the noise be the reminder of the silence. When someone shouts at you, let the sound of their voice push you deeper into your center. You are the eye of the storm. The storm rages around you, but the center is absolutely still. This takes practice, but it is the most beautiful practice in the world. It is the practice of living masterfully. You become an artist of life. The mind will try to pull you back. It will throw its old tricks at you. It will create doubts. Is this real? Maybe I am just hallucinating. Maybe Osho's words are just poetic hypnosis. The mind is very clever. It will use logic to kill your wonder. When doubt comes, do not fight the doubt. Acknowledge it. Smile at it. Say to your mind, "Thank you for your concern, but I have tasted the nectar, and no logic can take away the taste of nectar." Truth is not a logical conclusion. It is an existential experience. When you eat a mango, you know it is sweet. You don't need a scientist to prove to you that it is sweet. The experience is self-validating. The experience of the soul is self-validating. Once you taste it, all doubts evaporate. But you must be patient. The conditioning of the mind is thousands of years old. You have carried these patterns for many lifetimes. You cannot expect them to disappear overnight. Be compassionate with yourself. When you slip, and you will slip, when you get angry, when you get greedy, when you lose your center, do not beat yourself up. Guilt is the greatest enemy of the soul. Guilt is just another trick of the ego to keep you trapped in the past. When you fall, simply say, "Ah, I fell," and get up. Dust yourself off and step back into awareness. That's it. No drama, no self-condemnation. Just a gentle return to the center. This gentle persistence is the key. Water is soft, but by dripping consistently, it can cut through the hardest stone. Your awareness is soft, but by applying it continuously, it will cut through the hard stone of the ego. As this stone dissolves, you will find that your desires begin to change. The things that used to excite you will no longer hold any appeal. You will no longer be interested in accumulating unnecessary things. You will no longer crave the approval of others. You will discover the joy of simplicity. You will find that walking barefoot on the grass gives you more pleasure than driving a luxury car. You will find that watching a sunset gives you more fulfillment than watching a movie. You will find that sitting in silence is the greatest entertainment in the world. The outer world becomes a reflection of your inner richness. This does not mean you become poor or renounce the world. Poverty is not spiritual. I am against poverty. Poverty is ugly. But the real wealth is inner. When you have the inner wealth, the outer wealth loses its power over you. You can live in a palace and you remain a sannyasin, a seeker of truth. You can live in a hut and you remain an emperor. The outer circumstances do not define you. You become free. Freedom is the ultimate goal, not freedom from something, but freedom for something. Freedom for love, freedom for creativity, freedom for total absolute being. To anchor this freedom deeply in your life, you need constant reminders. You need to keep the flame alive. Click the join button and become a supporting member of this channel. In doing so, you are not just funding videos, you are joining a global caravan of free souls. You are investing in your own liberation. And if this message has pierced through your illusions today, use the super thanks feature. Let your generosity be the evidence of your inner overflow. When you are free, you realize that life is a game, a cosmic game. In India, we call it Leela. It is the play of the divine. In a game, you play to win, but you don't take it seriously. If you lose a game of chess, you don't commit suicide. You laugh, you shake hands, and you set up the board for another game. Life is the same. Play the game of life with totality. Be a good businessman. Be a good lover. Be a good artist. Play the role beautifully, but never forget that it is just a role. The actor is not the character. When you remember this, the heavy burden of responsibility drops. You become light. And in this lightness, you will finally understand the mystery of death. Death is the grand finale of this game. It is the moment when the board is cleared. If you have played the game with awareness, death is not a tragedy, it is a celebration. It is the moment when the drop finally slips into the ocean. Have you seen a drop of water on a lotus leaf? It trembles in the morning breeze. It reflects the sun. It is beautiful, but its destiny is to merge. When the breeze blows a little harder, the drop slips and falls into the pond. Does the drop die? The form dies. The boundary dies. But the water remains. The drop becomes the pond. It becomes vast. You are that drop. Death is the breeze that pushes you off the leaf. Do not be afraid. You are not dying. You are expanding. You are becoming the whole. This realization transforms your entire perspective on existence. You see that birth and death are just two sides of the same coin. They are the inhalation and exhalation of the cosmos. When you inhale, you are born. When you exhale, you die. It is a continuous cycle, and the one who breathes is eternal. You are the breather. Rest in this knowing. When you rest in this knowing, your actions become effortless. You flow. You don't plan your life. You let life plan itself through you. You become like a hollow bamboo flute. The flute does not compose the music. The flute is just empty. The singer blows the air and the music happens. If the flute had an ego, it would block the air. It would say, I want to play my own song. And there would be no music, only noise. Humanity has become a collection of blocked flutes. Everyone is trying to play their own song. Everyone is fighting. That is why the world is full of noise and chaos. Empty yourself. Become a hollow bamboo. Let the divine singer play through you. When you do this, your life becomes a masterpiece. Every movement becomes graceful. Every word becomes poetry. Your very breathing becomes a blessing for the world. This is the promise of the soul. It is waiting for you. It is calling you. Do not ignore the call. The mind will give you 1,000 excuses to delay. I am too busy. I have responsibilities. I will do this when I am older. These are the traps of the mind. There is no tomorrow. There is only now. If you miss the now, you miss everything. So dive into the now. Dive into the silence. Let the noise of the world fade into the background. Let the chatter of the mind subside. Just be. Be the awareness that watches. Be the space that holds everything. Be the love that connects all. You are the Alpha and the Omega. You are the beginning and the end. You are the supreme reality. Celebrate it, dance it, live it. If these words have ignited a spark within you, do not let it die out. Feed the fire of your awakening. You can do this by delving into my ebooks linked in the description below. They contain the distilled essence of this wisdom, ready to be absorbed at your own pace. And if you have felt the profound shift of your soul through this discourse, hit the super thanks button. It is a tangible way to express the gratitude that naturally arises when the heart expands. We are reaching the final frontier of this journey together. The words are exhausting themselves. Truth cannot be contained in words. Words are just vehicles. Once you reach the destination, you must leave the vehicle behind. You cannot enter the temple of truth carrying the baggage of words. You must enter naked in absolute silence. So let these words dissolve. Let them fade like ripples on a pond. What remains when the words are gone? That which was there before the words began. The silence, the presence, the soul, your true nature. Remember this space. Return to it again and again. It is your ultimate refuge. The world will try to shake you, but it cannot touch this space. The world will try to seduce you, but it cannot offer anything richer than this space. You have found the treasure. Guard it with your awareness. And from this space of overflowing richness, share your light. Do not become a missionary. Do not try to convert anyone. That is violence. Just shine. The sun does not try to convert the flowers. It just shines. And the flowers open up naturally. Shine with your joy. Shine with your peace. Shine with your silence. Those who are thirsty will be drawn to your well. Those who are ready will feel the warmth of your sun. You are a beacon of consciousness in a sleeping world. Take this responsibility with grace and joy. You are not alone. Existence is with you. The stars are with you. The trees are with you. The whole cosmos is supporting your awakening. Trust, let go, and fly. Fly into the infinite sky of your own being. This is the ultimate freedom. This is the ultimate truth. This is the ultimate love. If you are ready to claim this ultimate freedom, if you are ready to drop the chains of the mind and soar as the soul, make your final commitment to this path. Click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. By doing so, you ensure that the voice of the soul remains the loudest voice in your life. Like this video to seal your understanding and share it with the world to spread the light. Remember, the journey has just begun and the mystery is infinite. See you in the silence.